Brendan and Jerome Powell at the big desk.
There we go. Hi, guys. It's not 2 o'clock. It's 1:45. We're going to get you set here for what is to come at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and more importantly, what's to come just beyond that point at 2:30 when we get that press conference with Mr. Powell coming through. A couple things to note before we get going here. Yields are absolutely tanking into this interest rate decision, which is a change from what we've seen in the past, in the sense that the market is pricing in lower prices for yields ahead of what everyone's expecting to be some hawkish talk from Fed Chair Powell. So 30-year at 4.21 right now, the 10-year at 3.96 right now. So two things to note on that. One is we're finally seeing that correction and things moving in the right direction as far as longer dated yields being higher than shorter dated yields. Here's the dollar, meanwhile, had a huge move down initially. 102.95 was the low there. We're all the way back above 103 and change, so 103.2 coming into play for the dollar. So it has been a pretty volatile day as far as yields and the dollar ahead of the Fed decision. It's worth noting there's going to be no change. So we'll get the statement, we'll get some of the projections as well, hopefully coming up at 2 o'clock. We'll bring that to you. We'll bring you the market reaction, and then we'll get into what is to come then at 2:30. So maybe just a look at, guys, real quick here while we have some time, not only what has happened, but what we can expect and where we're going to be looking for a trade at 2.
Welcome, get geared up. At 2 o'clock, you're not going to get any rate change whatsoever, but what if they did change rates? I was talking to some traders about that. Like, there's a time will come again when we don't know for certain what's going to happen on the Fed, and it's a different ball game when that's the case. Today, there's not going to be a change, so you know the drill. If you've been watching, if it's your first time, you're in the right spot. We'll be live when it happens. We'll have most of the Mag 7 names will be trading. Look, anyways, that was okay. It worked. It worked, everybody. The Randy key is locked and loaded. So we are going to be ready when the rate comes out. We're going to look at some Mag 7 names, definitely big cap tech. But it's at 2:30 when you've already digested the statement, when everyone's sort of gone through all the what words have changed and what hasn't, that you get Powell at the podium and more random questions can give us direction or answers to it. So that's what I want to look for. I'm out of all my positions with the exception of Oxy off that 58 area bottom. I had Plug Power, didn't think that was going to be a big mover, but I'm going to be watching a couple of names. One is Apple. Yes, I know about the 185. I had it, I lost it, and it is still higher. But I'm looking at these key levels at 2 o'clock for like that rubber band play, because I'm not expecting you're going to get no change. So I'm looking for those key price levels. If we tank into support, I want it. If we rally into obvious resistance, I want that as well. So Apple 185 is going to be in play for me. Intel from this morning was a short off 43. Now I want it off 43.40, the afternoon high. Like, I want to look for those types of levels, the big key ones to come in. So watching pretty much the same names. But at 2 o'clock, I'm just looking for that quick reversion trade, and then we can worry about 2:30 when it happens.
We're just trying to pair our Bluetooth because it's just not working here. So, yeah, we have Microsoft $1.50 in the money. We have AMD 50 cents in the money, but we're trying to get out. I mean, this was a good trade there. AMD has been, told you already, this is the #1 stock, and all we did was add to it all afternoon. So during the midday, so a couple shorts into there, 10 minutes away. If you're wondering how come everybody knows there's going to be no movement whatsoever, whoops. You could just go to Fed rate, which I just closed. So go to my history, open this up as my computer is still snail's pace right here. All right, I was looking at March, but here's January right here. So there it is. This is our current situation. This is the chance of a cut. So 96%, no change. So we'll wait to see if there's some hawkish or dovish talk, which comes at 2:30, and then it's
higher.
And then it's what?
I'd expect it to be 99.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, there's still a percentage chance that there is a cut. And then this is March. So March is still 50-50. That's what we wait for. All right, over to the desk, and I'll see what the hell's wrong with my thing.
Yeah, this is the, I was just mentioning. Hey, Sharif's there. This is the 30-year right now, so that's a daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, straight downside, 4.2% on the 30-year. If you go a little bit tighter, 10-year, a little bit more dramatic here. So as I was saying, like the yield curve finally starting to point in the right direction, where the 10-year is below the 30-year. So it's the first time, as long as I can think of, anyways, going back over the past couple of years, where we've seen such a negative move going into the interest rate decision. So as Sean was showing there, no change obviously today, but if you go out to May and June now, they're still pricing in at least a quarter point, maybe even a half point by June, and still 150 basis points by this time next year to come off. So at some point they got to start.
Yeah, and like you wonder why they'd be motivated to cut. We haven't seen any cracks in the economy. There hasn't been a job problem. There hasn't been a GDP problem. So what's really motivating them here other than Wall Street calling for cuts? I want to mention, Brendo, that the 30-year and the 2-year uninverted, and that's something we talked about. The 30-year right now, 4.2, the 2-year 4.1, and the 10-year down below 4%, and they're all negative 2+% on the day. That's not typical when we see the markets down more than 1% too.
Definitely not. So we'll see how this plays out. So just to prepare everyone, anyways, here we go. So we'll have a look at this page here coming up at 2 o'clock. Obviously, we'll get the rate decision. We'll get the statement that comes along with that. Typically, it says projections here as well, so it might not be this meeting that we get those. 5.5, 5.5, 5.5. Guess what it's going to be? 5.5.
No, it's not going to be 7. Oh, see, I don't know. I thought that was a trick question. No, it's going to be that 5.5. Like I said, you've got to have a plan of action going into it. And we said that things could be a little bit, I don't know if sleepy is the right word, but range bound, I think, is going to be the case. Like if you have a look at the Qs are down 1%, obviously, like notionally, that's not that bad in terms of movement. But since we've hit what is the morning range, you've kind of gone inside for a little bit. If you're watching the overall market, I think the opening range top spike 421.50. I like individual names because there's sellers. Like I knew there were sellers there, and I like the direction. That's why I usually lean to the equity. But something like that 421 is going to be in play on the notion that we go down, unless you want to take a breakout trade. I think looking for the snapback is almost the way to go. Like I looked at Apple. I think a couple of other names that should be of interest for some obvious reasons. I said 4340 on Intel, AMD, which Sean is in. That's at some key levels at 169. Were it to break 169, I think there's 2 places to look. One is the obvious aftermarket high, which is insane if it gets there, but crazy things have happened before. That's 76, and then that 73 more reasonable top. I'm really still just looking fades in the chip names if we get a bounce to the upside. So play it, respect it. If absolutely nothing happens, I am also looking at Plug Power for a bit of a dip situation. If it can get back into the 450, 460 range before getting to 5. I do like that name. It had a great run from 430 into almost $5. Sort of resistance turning into support, grabbed the long, it broke it out, and then made the next leg up. I think Plug has a chance to challenge the $5 level for resistance. But I was out of it because it got to that resistance spot. But this is a good one to watch in the afternoon.
Bluetooth just won't connect.
I always want to have something in the pocket. If the market sits and goes sideways all afternoon, okay, well, what's moving independently? Plug Power is moving independently. Shouldn't matter what we get out of 2 o'clock and 2:30 for a name like this to give you some continuation. So I will be watching Plug Power as far as the small caps are going there. So you got to have, and I'm still in Oxy. I'll just quickly review that. Things could change. I tried the dip buy. The old dip and rip in Oxy the last couple of days has worked. Didn't work the first time off this lower high bottom. I've grabbed it a couple of times in here for some scalp trading, but maybe too early on that first dip in Occidental. You've already had the number come out for oil. So really, this one might not do anything terribly crazy. As long as it holds on to the bottom, I'll stick with it. I got it of everything else with the exception of this, anticipating it might not move as much as the rest of the market.
I'm getting out. We just shorted Intel. I mean, Intel's going to be another one here today. Good trade there. If you were not with us during the midday show, this was a pretty good trade too, man. Nike falls on Adidas earnings, makes a bottom, and we just buy it. Again, this is a very, very simple trade because you buy these 101.60s. The bottom is 50. So that is, we're long at 68. It's an 18-cent shot in the dark. Paid off because then Nike goes all the way to the upside. Now 55 cents in the money. These have been my best outs right here, 30s, 20s every time. We take 30 cents or whatever that was there, and then we start taking 60 cents on the high side. So we only got one piece left of Nike. We're starting to get out of Intel. AMD, we already talked about. You know what, we can just, I don't really want to put a bid on AMD because I want to see how far we can go down, to be honest with you. And then Microsoft, we've been, again, we were long early. This was a disaster. But then we started buying these 402s, and we were talking about that. Then my last out right there is 403.57 or 40, I don't know, whatever that was. Right there, 403.30 maybe. So now we'll wait on Microsoft as well. It'll drop back into 401. So I don't have my earpiece or anything like that. So all the news is going to have to come from Neil and Brendo. So get ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got about 4 minutes to go here. I saw a question like, what do we think about Qualcomm? Don't worry, like right now the focus is going to be on the Fed and what does or doesn't happen at 2 o'clock. But after that, it's a regular show. We'll talk some earnings, the market recap. We'll go just like normal in Qualcomm. We understand it is the big earnings name, but I think that's something we can talk about expectations and look at the daily and the weekly on that at any time. Right now, we want to focus on potential movement here with the Fed. As always, just to give you the idea, we'll go back to Brendan. 2 o'clock, we'll get the number. We'll come back for any live trading. Brendan will be giving live updates, what they struck from the statement or didn't, like all that good stuff. So we will be going back to him from time to time. You're in the right spot. So we'll have everything live. When Powell hits the podium, we'll get everything there as well. Back to the desk. Any last words there, Brendan, before we get into this?
Yeah. We were just talking about the projections still going out to the end of the year are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I was mentioning that with Frank yesterday, but just to confirm, we're not getting projections today. Of course we're not, because we just got them in December. Yes. So March, June, September, and December is when you get those. So it'll just be the normal release with the statement. There won't be much change as far as that is concerned, I feel. And then coming up at 2:30, we'll get Mr. Powell.
Yeah, and we get the statement too. Remember the comparator statement? You always have like what's added, what's been removed with red marking. So we'll see whether anything material has been mentioned there. So interesting day today. Obviously, a lot of the the cuts have been baked in down the road. So nothing really too crazy to expect today.
Yeah, I mean 3.75 is what, like if you go to December of next year or this year, the end of this year, it's at 3.75 to 4. So we got a lot of work to do if we're going to get to that point by the end of the year. Totally unrelated, but Sharif and I were just talking about this as well. There's that LeBron James note on DraftKings. I mean, a huge monster volume spike on that, but it's done absolutely nothing since. So, I mean, positive for them, you would think. Yeah,
no question about it. I mean, still down 1.14%. The other day, we know that the parent company of FanDuel was going to list in North America on the New York Stock Exchange. So some news there. DraftKings overtaking FanDuel, you should know, last year as the biggest online gambling app in the United States with about 33% market share. So we'll have to wait and see what this news brings, if anything, in the future.
Just over a minute to go here before we get nothing, really, but just worth noting. DXY did move down there a little bit further. We're back to, 4.2 now, flat on the 30-year. So yield still tanking right into this announcement. We'll see if we get any reaction. Yeah.
You know what would be cool? If we did a drinking game to see every time he said data dependent, someone takes
Trust me. If you go back the past 3 or 4 meetings, that would be disastrous. But yeah, we're under a minute, guys. So let me pull up this calendar here and we'll show you 5.5% because that is what is going to come. I'll do one more refresh just so we're live. There we go. So that box right here is where we'll get 5.5%. No change on this one. I'll quickly jump over and see what comes as far as the statement is concerned, and we'll get the reaction from the overall market. 30 seconds to go here. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at Apple just because I'm involved in it, and it did reject off that 186.5, Brendo, on its way down to 186. I want to see what these Mag 7 names, how they react.
All right. Hold on to your hats here because we could get a bit of a market reaction. As far as the statement is concerned, we'll see, again, what comes as far as the comments in the statement. But get ready for this to say 5.5% for the Fed funds rate. No change, guys, just coming through in my ear here. It hasn't updated. There it is, 5.5% as expected. Wasn't that exciting?
Well, look, you knew what it was going to say. The market heading to the downside initially.
We just made bank.
Apple just came to the downside pretty nicely.
Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you guys. We are now $1 plus in the money. We just got that AMD up there at 169. It's starting to go again, so we're just gonna have to sit here and watch some of these plays. I mean, Intel again is a pretty big banger. As Travolta's like, okay, that's what that was. There we go, a nice move down for Intel. We're still on one. I'm still trying to get my earpiece figured out, but there it is. It's a nice move for Brendan back at the desk.
Here's why, guys. Fed says it does not expect it will be appropriate to reduce rates until there is greater confidence inflation is moving towards 2%. So there's your down move for the market.
All right, good. All right, I'm back now, Brendan and Ramin and everybody, so that's good. Yeah, good to go so far, so good. All right, someone said, like, why was I still in Microsoft heading into the announcement? Because 99 problems, Microsoft ain't one. There we go. Nice downside move again for AMD. No. So honestly, I was just waiting for this kind of a dip to happen. We are bidding Microsoft right now, 401.20. Nice move down. Maybe a little bit too early, but we're $1 in the money. Intel's a nice trade. Nike's still holding out, and AMD, but there's the move down for the futures.
It's a decent move. We didn't actually break the NASDAQ, but the ES took out 49,000 briefly. I missed the Apple bounce by pennies. I was able to get a fill on Oxy. I got pretty lucky there. It spiked up before it went down. And it came right back into our buy zone. I canceled bids on it. I wanted to see things settle down, but now that it held that low, I'm jumping right back over to it. Apple, respect to Apple there. It didn't quite get, I was bidding 185, essentially 22s because I like the number in front of 85. It got down to 33. Still like that initial support. Remember, the initial move, 230 is generally speaking where you pick a direction. So I usually want that rubber band action. Seems like we're going to head for that 185. And then you already mentioned Microsoft 401. That was the level from this morning that I was trying to hold. It was a double bottom on earnings for Microsoft at this 401 level. I think that's going to be a key. But if you're going to have pressure on not lowering rates, EVs. EVs don't look good. I like Rivian. I'm going to short this double top. I'm going to short back into it until Powell says something that scares that trade.
All right, $1.50 now in the money on AMD. It's still going to the downside. Here we go. Nice move back in. We're long Microsoft, but we're long just right here. I want to see the 400 level break before I know I'm wrong, so we're going to wait for that. I'm going to put that order in right now. We still got a little ways to go. 399. I don't know, 95. All right, we'll put that order in. Oops. Oh, yeah, okay, good. I'm on Microsoft. All right, so we just bought that dip. Why the heck not? So we just touched the 200 period, 167. That's $2 in the money. We did not get out. We're going to put a bid down here at 166 on AMD in case this continues to bleed lower. Fabian or Amin, test if you could test this so I can know. Perfect, got it. Good, thank you. Nice amount of tests there. All right, so there we go. We'll put a bid now at 166.50 or so on that one. Intel, just like that, goes right up the leaderboard. Quickly shorted and boom, right back in, covered some at 90s there. Let's see where we go from here. But sometimes you get one move down, one move back up. We'll wait to hear if Brendan can see anything or hear anything from that note. But again, Powell not on the podium until deuces. And then there's Microsoft again. I mean, we did it again. There it is right there. There's Microsoft. It's another one. We just put $1 on the board for you guys again and again and again. So there it is. Nice little move upside on Microsoft. Now $1 in the money. So it's a $2 winner on, or $1.50 on AMD. And then there it is right there. $1 on Microsoft. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the ride.
Absolutely. Bottom to top, we talk about whipsaw action. Know levels, know what you like. I got the same fill back forward on Oxy here. The only change for me is going to be these EV names. I can't imagine a scenario. I just can't. I'm not imagining a scenario where this market heads down and we're not going to get any kind of and we're going to get a decreased opportunity for rate cuts early and not look for the shorts on Rivian. I tried to grab this at 16. It's going to be a flat bottom break here at 15.90. I'll give this multiple shots into the double top. I picked this name over Tesla because at the end of the day, the names that aren't making money, it's just higher rates are worse for them. It's just that simple. So whether it's Lucid, whether it's Rivian, you can pick your poison. It's just that's going to affect them more than it's going to affect something like a Tesla. That's why my preference to try to grab the patient trade, shorting back in on Rivian. I do not want to chase it at the bottom. That's not the way I find is successful playing this. Either you got those dips. Apple missed by about 10 cents. It got to the 30s. I needed to see it in the 20s. Let's go back to Brennan, another update.
All right, so a lot changed here as far as the written statement is concerned. So this is what it looks like right now. So everything in red is different or removed. So if it's struck out entirely, that means they've taken it out. So this entire paragraph on the banking system specifically has been removed. This entire paragraph has been altered, it looks like, and that talks a little bit more on the outlook and their confidence in the prior outlook going forward. So this almost puts a little more pressure, I think, on what is to come here at 2:30, guys, as he will be questioned, no doubt, on all of this.
Oh man, this is again, yeah, for sure. We're making bank now and trying to get out. So you know, we let AMD. We just got out there at 50 break. Well, we got out of a piece of that for just 30 cents. I mean, it went all the way down, and we were able to take it out. Then all of a sudden, Brendan comes. I was like, okay, we better get something out in case this runs. I just want to tell everybody, I'm out of this if we break 170. I have another piece right there, but if it breaks 170, we are gonzo on that one. It's $1 in the money on Microsoft. It's the only position that we put on for you. Whoops, where did my chart go? We put on Microsoft, and then we put on AMD. So we're going to go 2 for 2 here as we go. There it is. There's the Microsoft trade right there. So here's the bid. We just put that on. Our best bid is 401.20. It's at 402.20, or was. That's where we took a piece out. Now let's see if it continues to go. And then the AMD trade was just us sitting there at 169. My next fill will be like at 169.80 or something like that, and then we'll punch out at 170 if we go a little bit higher than that. But Jerome's gonna be coming in 14 minutes. Let's hear what he says then.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like we've got pretty much the juice from Brendan there. I put on the positions that we talked about. We got back up to the highs on Intel. I was looking for that top. I just grabbed the short. Now Plug Power obviously is gonna run into issues with higher rates, but talked about the dip at 450. It did find a bid here, so I jumped in front of that 50 level for the reload. VWAP could come into play, but it's looking a little bit heavy on the way back. So Plug was in part of the plans to go dip buy because of that squeeze play. Intel just playing the top end of the range. I was playing 43s earlier. I can zoom out and show you. You've got yesterday's highs as well still in play. The lower high from the afternoon, and then top at 43.40 as well. So that's short. Oxy, probably not going to be as volatile, I would think, being an oil name, but I did get the reload off of that, just underneath that 58 level. So sticking to the plan. Apple never filled. I still have the bids down there off the 185. Probably don't need to have those in case we come back down. If we get another bounce there, I can kind of jump in if I see that 185 come into play again. So the big positions, I think, generally speaking, you know, after 230 is when you get a more distinct direction. Now we can start playing off some of these levels. Just go rinsing and repeating. That's the way to go. Like find the range, trade the range. If Intel, if after 230 Intel is stair-stepping up, then I should probably be favoring the long, but I don't think we're at that point just yet. Like Powell's going to have to say something to get me away from the original plan that's a bit different. I don't think we've had anything too shocking just yet.
All right, I want to go Tesla. I was thinking about Tesla right now. AMD's 50 cents in the money. Intel, like I said, is rocketing up the board here. I do have another offer for Microsoft. If we do get this, like Neil mentioned, like I don't mind getting out again. Like these bids, right? Like these are just monsters. That's 401.95. That's 402.25. That's 401.18. So that's the dollar. There's an average in. If we get back up, let's take another piece out right now. I'm at 402.12. I was at 402, there it is, so we just got that. So there it is again. That's another one. That's another good long for SOFI, and we'll wait on that one now. Nike's trying to go. FOMC coming out at 2:30 with the press conference. That's what everybody's waiting for. I'm going to get another piece out here on Intel. I'll just put that up for you so you guys can see. We'll bid some 99s. Maybe it flushes down, and we'll get that. We just got a bunch of bids down here on Intel, man. I mean, that move was good. We didn't reload it. Okay, NVIDIA. We do have Chris Breter coming on tonight. He wants to talk about some cheap calls that he's trying to buy. Earnings calls, things like that. He's going to give you some ideas on what he's looking at. That's Chris Breter coming live to the best recap show around, period. All right, there it is, NVIDIA.
The only
recap show that you need, right, exactly. And then here's the move down right there for Intel as well. We just get a 99. So yeah, man, good so far. Could be better, and we'll get more exciting at 2:30. Thank you, everybody, for watching. The thing we haven't hit in a while was Sharif's.
Like, subscribe, and share the show.
Not a good line. Shit, where was it? There was a really good line. While you wait for the mic, hit the like. I like it. We're waiting for Powell on the mic. Hit that like. Sharif, well, the funny thing about it, Sharif complained, don't hit it anymore. I'm going to make a new one that's better.
That kind of sounds like Sharif.
Did it? Okay, thank you. I've been working on my Sharif impression. No, it doesn't. But when is this new? You got to make a new one if you don't want us to hit the old one.
It's been made, Neil, I promise.
It's been made, he says. I question the existence of it. And you know what? And Bigfoot is real too. But Intel, there's a buyer at Intel right at 43. And you can see this happen on days like this where when you have the liquidity dry up and then the markets start to get made again, a lot of times it'll be obvious when someone's jumping in. Every time it ticks to like 98, 97, the bid at 43 just comes right back in. So I'm looking for a push down into VWAP. But if this ends up holding, let me go back. I'm going to wait till the absolute top to reload this if someone's going to hold it at these highs. Plug seems to be chilling out for the time being in this consolidation, but I won't let this get past the 450 level on Plug Power. It might be up 22%, but things can change in a hurry after 2 p.m. on a day like today. Brendo?
Changing by the second here, but Fed Fund futures are actually pricing in. It's at 52%, I just heard, for a quarter point cut, more certain now for March than it was just 10 minutes ago or so, but this is lagging a little bit on the actual Fed tool. 49.7 now for a quarter point as well going out to May, but just hearing Fed Fund futures pricing in a little more certainty now, guys, for a cut in March.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying there, Ben. I mean, honestly, for the Qs, like we sort of already talked about it, but we'll just keep going. It's like there's really no point in doing anything until we see Powell come through. This 418 has been fantastic. That's the level that you mentioned. I feel like that's a good level to sit in front of. Because if it comes down into here, at least you have a base to know, get out, get in, whatever, at these levels. So this would be a good level. So congratulations, bang on that one, Ben. I think you're right about that one, but you are going to need this to happen to get down into there. And honestly, we're $1 in the, I mean, we only put on a couple trades, man. We have 10% left of this. Well, actually, a little bit more than 10%, but not much on this trade, AMD. If this gets near 170, you'll see a much bigger short. Well, you will see a short put on. Right now, there's just this candy right here. But what we really have on is Microsoft. And you guys mentioned to me earlier, and I told you, why do we have Microsoft on still? And I said it was a small piece, but we're waiting for this to fall into the 401s. I mean, that's exactly what happened right there. So we put it on, and that's the only trade that we really put on throughout this all. We've been getting out where I only have 10% left of Intel, as a lot of that came out here at O's. Then we got 90s, and now we're kind of getting 98s, 99 again right there as this is starting to head back upside. The only stock that I want to short upside is going to be AMD. Everything else, let's freaking moon, baby. We don't even have an offer on Microsoft at all. So I don't even want to get out of this name. This name, watch this, turn positive today. Let's see if Microsoft can get back upside on this. Powell has to give the goods. If he doesn't, fine.
Exactly.
But if you're not in something, he could come on immediately and this thing pops $1.
We have 15 minutes to go.
Oh.
I was about to say Intel.
I like Intel.
Meta.
I like
Meta has held VWAP here, and it was interesting because I saw the 185. Obviously, Apple bounced a little bit shy of the 185 and didn't quite get there, but 394 on Meta holds VWAP. It's down 1%, but since the open, that's a bullish-looking chart, so forget about the gap down and worry about the price action today. There's buyers on Meta today, so I like this 394. I don't want to be taking no breakouts before 230. I don't think that's going to be the way to go, but VWAP, oh yeah. We'll look for some VWAP retracements on Meta. I'd rather be long this name than hunting for a short in Meta. You already mentioned Tesla. I still like the notion of a fade in Rivian. I just punch in next time.
Oh yeah, Tesla.
So Rivian did. I was trying to get something above the $16 level because I wanted to be short into 16.25. So I wasn't trying to grab it underneath 90. But Rivian is starting to fade out. I like the notion of being short EV a little bit here, but this is getting away from me. And maybe if the market can pump up a little bit, there might be still something for an EV short. But I'm not. This is not the day to be chasing and shorting bottoms. That's a good way to get rinsed. Sometimes you should just punch into the stock. Probably should have just punched in there like 94, 95 instead of offering 1604. But that was the call. I kind of thought I was going to get Apple in that moment. We'll get back to it if it pops up, but I do want to be short Rivian. I'm just going to quickly double check to see if I have a chance at maybe Lucid or Nikola or something in that vein.
Bitcoin making move down 43,325. We just put on an, okay, so I know actually we did not put on a new position. I have a new idea though. I really want to go long down here, man, like 190, 190, 50, things like that. I think I like Tesla here. Only down 0.38. The NASDAQ really down under VWAP, but again, I'm not analyzing this the same way as we've been analyzing it the whole time. We're now 14 minutes away, but this is a good trade. I am bidding 190. So if this comes in, we'll give it to like 189.50 or so on a potential whoosh. Excuse me, whoosh, just chugged the water here. On a potential whoosh down. So that's what we got to watch out for here at 189.50. If you have the Hydration Nation, hit it, because everyone should be hydrated getting ready for this event that's about to come through. So we'll get that in a second. It's always right there on the recap show.
You know what's weird?
We'll have Hydration Nation in a minute.
I didn't do it just now, but I did it the first time. I always like take a sip of whatever it is. You gotta have a water when you're talking all day long or when you're trading all day. If you get dehydrated, and this is not like, I'm not just saying this for nonsense. If you get hungry, you get dehydrated, you're not gonna think in the same way. You're not functioning at the same level. I don't care who you are. Like,
I have it.
You get like a hangry. There you go.
My bad.
Kind of waiting for you to hit it. But it's true. Like if you get in that moment and all of a sudden your brain gets a little bit foggy because you didn't drink enough water or you didn't get any food, have a snack, man. Have a snack, grab a Snickers, get some hydration in you because it does matter. I've been there before. You see how I get hungry throughout the day. One more thing, I did find that I kind of like Lucid here. I might not get a chance at Rivian. Then I remembered 360 was a big level on Lucid, and it's right there underneath the 360. So I'll probably give it a few cents because I'm not risking 2 pennies on a Fed day. But give it to like 65. But it's right at VWAP, and Lucid, this is the double bottom from the daily. So it was previous resistance. You're wicking around underneath it. I like the over-under at that price. Why does that line move for no reason? So I want to try to grab Lucid. I do still prefer Rivian to some extent, but if we don't get it, we don't get it. I'm going to get offers on plug all the way back to the high of the day. Just so you know, I'm going to have an offer in front of 70. I'm going to get out before this even gets to $5 on plug power. But the next in line for me looks like it'll be Lucid or Rivian. I want to be fading.
All right, I guess all we had to do was talk about Tesla. Let's see if it comes back down in now. 190.50. Look at the futures right now. So again, unchanged as expected. Let's just check out the CME Fed rate tool right now. So this is March. Let's just double check January. Obviously, I don't know why that's not 100% at this point. They got to update it. But here's March. So it's really no change. We were slightly unchanged on this move. So we're still expecting 50% for March. We will cut, right? We'll check this back as Jerome comes on, right? And so Jerome right now, Jerome, just deal with your own stuff. We'll just continue to trade. He wants to talk, but honestly, I don't want to get involved in insider trade or anything. So we'll just hold it out now. I want credit for the trades because of me, not because my uncle's calling. So we're going to wait on this one. I am still bidding I'm bidding down here right now. 190's flat, basically 190.11. We'll see if we can get that fill down here, 190.11 or so for Tesla. And I just want to give this, because it's right here, right? It's VWAP. Let's just give it to 189.50. Like not too much room to breathe on that Tesla trade because it's going to be huge one way or the other. Once we get to 230. So there it is. What's up, LIV? 230. is when he comes through. So my hands are off right now. I've got Nike's in the money, 50 cents. Microsoft is now 50 cents, but we've already taken out dollars on that one. Intel is, like I said, Intel's going to be the number 2 stock. That's going to be a good one there. And then AMD just continues to be the darling that I like so far here today. The number 1 traded name, AMD. And let's just see if it can continue to make moves back down in 166. I don't have any bids, so 166.50 would be nice.
Not really trading MSTR there, Pratham. But look, just follow Bitcoin if you're going to be looking at MSTR. I have to pay for locates on Lucid. That's entirely the reason why I didn't get the fill. We don't have free shorts on Lucid, so there's still some time. It's right at that same level. It's maybe a cent away from where it was when I wanted to grab it. So I'm just going to sit here, get the order in now. I just want to. It's literally 1/4 of 1 cent. For locates here on Lucid, here at Day Trade the World, but I did have to process that before we got in. Rivian, this is still falling. So if Lucid is gonna follow this thing, like really is, if Rivian's gonna do that and Lucid's not gonna fall, that's a little bit surprising if it happens. I already paid for locates on Nikola, so I know I can grab this one if I wanted. I had the short early for a flat bottom break, it never happened. Probably could have revisited shorting at the high. But it's at that 77 key level. If I can't get Rivian, I think I want to grab this one to said downside. The market's now 1.4% down on the NASDAQ. So we are, the ES is already down, breaking that 49, but we are above that low. If we retest the low, Apple 185, that's a level that I like the long. We'll see if we get down in there, but I want to grab some shorts and some EV names. Hang on to Intel as long as it doesn't want to break that top. If you don't break the top, then we can hang on to it, but it's the EVs I want to be jumping into those shorts. Oxy seems to be holding the bottom, and then Plug Power, hopefully doing its own thing. Now, really, Plug Power, yes, higher rates, obviously not good for them. When you don't make money, higher rates aren't going to be good, but it is a bit of a squeeze name.
Yeah, a bit of a squeeze name there on Plug Power. All right, we just got a little bit more here. We'll hit this because why not? We're reloaded a little bit here on Microsoft. It just came into that 401. This is where we bought the first time. So like I said, we're waiting for a 400 to break. So I don't really have too much else to do. See, like, oh man, my computer is just like epically slow now today as well. All right, so I have another bid, 400. I hope it doesn't come in before. But see, now we still have 8 minutes, right? So this is what I did on AMD earlier when we really started to go short too early into this move. We got so excited there, and we started the short at 42, eventually went all the way to the upside. So we were dead man walking there. Then all of a sudden, it like I told you, it was fine. But again, that was a little silly trade. We'll have to watch out for that now coming through again. So there it is. We just got Tesla as well. I'm guessing that we're just early on all of these plays. They're not heavy amounts of shares, and the reason for that is
8 minutes.
Is because of that. It's like we don't need to be sitting here and then just taking hits as we wait for Powell, because this name could go down to 189. Powell hits the mic, boom, 193, or the other way around. So it's really just flipping a coin right now. We have a very, very small trade here. For me, on Tesla. So we're just going to give this 50 cents if it works. And part of it is because it pulled back to VWAP. So ahead of panic for Powell, I'm fine buying names at VWAP right now, especially names that are stronger than the market. If Tesla wants to work, it will work. But we'll be out at 189.50, and it won't cost us that much. But I'm just waiting. Like we're just waiting here.
Well, I think that's what we should be doing. Like it's okay. So that last 20 minutes gave an opportunity to get into some positions, refresh some positions, and now you are just waiting. I'll slap the fail on myself for Rivian. Like that's one of those. I thought being patient was the right decision with Rivian. That was the call. But if you remember this morning, when we were going over the plan of action, I was like, if we start heading to the downside based on anything Fed-related, non-money-making EV names to me are like lower-hanging fruit, and part of it's because they're non-money-making, and the other part is their charts all look like trash. So you go back and lean on them, but I didn't punch into Rivian. Lucid's starting to go to the downside, but really, you can't recreate the trade that was there before. So because it's not 230 just yet, you see the range 360. That bottom is 350. Yeah, I'll scalp half out into that range. And if it continues lower, I'll hold on to some of that for the dream. If Powell moves the markets up, get out when if that thing breaks VWAP. You never really know. Sometimes we like to anticipate that Powell's going to rally things because it feels like that's what's happened the last few times, but it's not a guarantee. Like, have a plan of action, have yourself an out. Like, Intel right now is working back to the upside. So it might be breaking out that top, and we have to get out of it. I don't mind punching out before 230 hits, especially if Powell does decide to rally these markets. So, the new position was Lucid. I did just jump out of the first leg at 54. It's already starting to come back in. I don't think I will add to this unless it's after 230. We've got the position on now. Ideally, I could still pick up some Rivian if the opportunity presents itself, but it just very well might not. You can't sit there and chase the move that hasn't happened. Did Rumble break 7? I knew I forgot about. Okay, no, good, didn't. I don't want Rumble to break 7 because the daily chart looks like this, and I would like us to get a fresh shot at this level without having to worry about Fed and all that other nonsense. It's a triple top on Rumble. It's $7. It's got a decent short flow. I don't remember off the top of my head how much. But the high today is 93. So that could happen today. Should be on the radars for any breakout traders on small caps.
All right, I just put my bid. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just trying to go with what Powell generally will rally the markets a little bit. But I'm not. I said to Brendan earlier, I still think the market could go down after this. But let's just see what he does right now. Now, obviously, Tesla starts to bounce back up. And this is not something, normally we would have averaged in on that kind of a wick there. But we've already talked about it. This is not a normal day. This is why I'm going to get a piece out now because we did rally back a little bit on Microsoft. We'll take out 20% here for flat if we can get it. We almost got it. We're at 20s right here. Hopefully we get that. And then we'll wait because if it goes back up, then we're good to go. But if it doesn't, man, we came close to breaking that 400 there as well. So there, I mean, we just put an offer, and you saw what happened. I said, oh, I'm going to get out. Thing went back down to the downside. I am saving Tesla for 188. So in 3 minutes, Powell's going to come, prepared speech and everything. Well, Brendan will have like the lines that are marked out and what's different and all that kind of jazz. But I'm not going to do anything until Tesla breaks 188. So I want to see it do this dance all the way to the bottom. So we'll wait for that. Like I said, we don't have very many shares. Well comfortable holding this against me $2. That's going to be the trade. It could be very, very violent. So we want to hold that at least to down there. And I do have another bid on Tesla. I'm not sure, man. Like we're going to bid 188.60. So if it drops down another $1, then we'll pick it up. Remember, if this is a disaster for us, we got short on Intel. Which just got reloaded right there, by the way.
Just hit tops.
Yep, and we have a short on Intel, and we have a short on AMD. So it's kind of like one way. As long as Intel doesn't completely get cracked, we should be okay. We're now short at 21s on Intel with a decent amount of shares, and our stop on that one is 25 break. So maybe we'll take some out if it falls a little bit here, but now we're 2 minutes away. So if I could just fast forward 2.5 minutes, that would be my preference right now, just to see what happens, and then we'll go from there. But right now, Intel, there it is. Nice. We're taking some profits out, man. Good move downside here. Let's just capture this. We have a lot of shares, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, you got to make sure you get those bids out. I respect. There was just a comment in the chat, and I respect everybody for their trading styles. Unpopular opinions: trading with stops is bad. It depends on your trading style. I would tend to understand that stops can get run if you have a hard stop at a key price level. For day trading, where you're doing like a lot of scalp trading, where you're trying to capture inside moves and that, you want to limit those losses sometimes relatively tight. A key level goes, you don't want to hold it to the next level because you're not position trading it the entire day necessarily. It's just a different trading style. I can understand why sometimes you don't want to have a hard stop. But I'm
using a day like today?
I'm saying, look, it is what it is. Depends on your trading style. If I want to get out at the high of the day when the Fed can move the markets, I'm using a hard stop. That's just how I roll. I know that's how that you trade. If you have a different trading strategy that you're comfortable giving things an extra few points, and maybe you're swinging it a little bit and you're holding overnight, I don't know. To each their own. But what I can tell you is we use hard stops and not afraid to use them in a situation like that. So Intel's starting to pop back into the downside. I just got another leg out on Lucid. Thank you for that wick. That continues to be, the EVs are flushed down the toilet because they are who they are. As I said, this is the weaker one, the nasty one, the bad one, Rivian, about to go red. So I want to be hands off. If Rivian, if Powell pops Rivian or the market or whatever enough to get Rivian back into VWAP or 16, I want to be ready for that. And if it doesn't hold 16, I want to be ready for the double top at 16.25. I am in Lucid and Lucid's working, but Rivian was the one that I wanted originally. So if we can get that, I'd rather be jumping over there.
Guys, we are just undercover. What's up, Marissa? She's watching right now, of course. So shout out to my wife. Look, we just undercover just did quite well on Intel there. So we're starting to cover a little bit now again here. Even though it's only 10 cents in the money, we just got some 08s, I think, so 12 or 13 cents. Here we go. It's 5 seconds right now. We're going to watch out for SOFI. We're going to watch out for Tesla. And we're going to watch this market hopefully go boom. If it goes upside, we're good to go. If it goes downside, we're also good to go. Microsoft would be the worry spot as we're flat on Microsoft right now. We just took a piece out there. So we've only got 75% of what we had in the first place. Let's see what happens right now. It's 2:30. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Fed Chair Powell is about to step on the podium. Not there yet. He's coming out for everybody. So we're going to watch out for SOFI. Here goes SOFI. We're nicely in the money, but we want higher than this. 401.70 is where I'm sitting at right now. 402 would be nice. And then after that, let's see a 403, and let's go a little bit higher right now as we hope there is no pivot whatsoever, and we stay where we are, and then hopefully these best names will continue to be exactly that and some nice upside. So here we go. Powell says economy is making good progress. Inflation has eased. As soon as Brendan gets all of that, I'm just hearing it in my ear. So that's so far the remarks. Impressed with the economy, and inflation is easing, but we already know that.
Yeah, that's exactly a bunch of stuff that we already know. Remember, it's prepared at first, so you know what he's going to say. The Q&A. The Q&A is what's up, because then suddenly you might get an answer that goes a little bit off the script where he could move the market. So the market is sort of heading back in the downside. Got to take profit on the way down. You never really know what he's going to do. Want to make sure we get some profit on that way down. I'm bidding Apple here, so I want to watch out. It's at 185. If he does tank us down into 185, I'm still going to pick that up. Put a new order in tighter to that number. But the market is starting to come in here. I'm taking profit all the way down. I have a couple of things I like for some dip buys, but be prepared. Like, you're not expecting fireworks because 230 hit. You're expecting that once he's done the prepared statement, then things get digested and we can go. Now we're starting to rally.
There it is, man. Nice move to the upside right now. Thank you, Mr. Powell. There it is. Look at that buy right there. It's only good until we get it out. We need Tesla to go back up to the upside. I was just like, okay, here comes Tesla. We're waiting at 190.20. I don't know why. We could just take a piece out right now in case we're wrong. Let's see if it wants to go to the upside now, as Brendan will come with any information. There we go. Take a piece out right now at 189.95. So that was a good dip buy right there, obviously. So let's wait now to see as this goes, man. Yes, sir. All right. Microsoft, there it is again. Spin it one more time. It's a money-making trade, but we got some news right now. What up, B?
Yeah, just a reminder, guys, he's just reading the statement that I showed earlier, so nothing really will, as the market is concerned, nothing really will change until we get into the Q&A.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're still getting the same back and forth, but again, the Q&A is going to be the bigger part of the story. But it's rallying the markets nonetheless, getting those numbers. I just added to plug. If we're going upside, then I'm going to stick back to what was working. Let's go back to the original theory and right back into that 450 level. I don't want to scalp a few cents here. I'd like it to push a little bit closer to said high of the day. I just got another reload in Intel. I don't know how many times we'll go to the well for this level, because you can see it is putting in higher lows. Higher lows is a trend to the upside last I checked, and if I got to think about something which is showing a strength in the chips, I haven't really, again, well, relative strength or relative weakness. I've made one trade on ARM, and the key price level it's actually holding above. This is a barcode at a higher low on ARM. So if we do take out the tops, I might jump over to this name from Intel on some strength. But it is holding VWAP pretty nicely. I like ARM. Right now the spread is a little bit dicey. I got to respect that. Lucid seemingly okay, barely moving at all. I like that, because if we tank, I think that'll be fine. And if we rip, in theory, it shouldn't rip as much because it's not a staple name.
Guys, we just made a lot of money there. So I mean, there's the dip buy in Tesla. We mentioned nothing happening. There's lots happening. You just got to be on the right names, of course. Like, there's lots moving around. Microsoft is now almost, well, we took $1 on it. Tesla is almost, it's about $1.50. But again, you got to be really specific with it all. This is why we cashed out of Intel. You know, I'm not going to reload it, but I don't mind that trade either. But Intel, again, we're pretty light on it. We cashed it out. We said we'd be good either way. I did cancel this trade. I canceled the AMD short 170. I'm just going to roll with what we have, because if this market does get back up to the upside, then this could blow up. I mean, we don't need any love on AMD, man. AMD's already the #1 stock here. I don't need to like average into oblivion into a wrong trade by any stretch of the imagination. And of course, like I just said, this is why we got out. We got out of Intel. We put on a big position. We got out on the downside. Intel, the second best name here today for me, just on those baby trades. So that was a good one. And actually, Tesla's better than that now. Nike's better than that. I mean, we're starting to go now. So scratch what I just said. $1.30 now in the money. Let's go, man. If you're rocking with this guy, you're rocking here. Good trade there on Microsoft. Now up $1 on Microsoft, $1 on Tesla. Let's go.
We just talked about why we use hard stops, so that you can have a small hit in and tight out. If you're taking 10 cents of profit, you don't want to be losing 15 pennies. I'd rather be losing 4 or 5. That's the name of the game, so that your winners are bigger than your losers. It doesn't matter how much you make if your losers are bigger than your winners, right? So using hard stops, whether it works or not, is going to be the way to go for me. Plug's starting to move into the upside here, but I just said we were going to get some, on any move up, I was going to look to try to get Rivian off of VWAP. I'm not staying away from that plan until something changes my mind, and nothing has changed my mind for that just yet. So I am going to get on the offer. We didn't even get halfway to VWAP in here. Rivian's still looking a little bit weak. I'd like to get this back into the 1590 range. Just going to sit on the offer, try to grab something in the mid-80s, see if we can't work it into VWAP. I like the fact that when the market spiked, this thing didn't even want to get close to VWAP. I know it's green on the day, but price action since 2 o'clock. I consider that to be weak.
All right, there we go. We'll take out another fill there. We just got the best fill right there that we've had on Tesla. So that's $1.40. We're taking that out. It's just right now I'm hearing in my ear Powell's talking. Like he's reading this, need more confidence before we reduce policy rate, so on and so forth, things like that. So we're gonna ease off. I mean, this was a monster. So we started small, we got bigger, and boom, to the upside there as well. Microsoft's the one that's coming in, man. We should have respected that 402.50. So just watch out here for SOFI. That was a great, it's still a great trade because we're able to get out, but it was much better at the top. And this is exactly the point about what we're talking about. Like, you know, smaller hits, bigger winners, trade the right names. We're still in Disney, but we're almost out of Disney. But this has been disappointing all day, man. Huge move down, kind of just hovered around, and now Disney looks like it wants to take this bottom out. I feel like we're just going to get out if it breaks 50, man. I mean, we're not even really in this name because we've already gotten out. We still only have 20% of this. So let's just get out if this goes to the downside, because we're going to worry about other names rather than Disney. So right now, 96.50. Powell now taking questions.
Q&A now.
Yep, Powell now starting to take questions, as Ram says it in my ear. Can't believe I just called you Ram, my bad. But we will wait to hear what Powell has to say when hopefully they start talking a little bit more about inflation targets.
That's what it's all about. And look, I know there's other names moving. I just saw in the chat someone asked us to look at MNTS. I've got a small cap that I'm watching to try to watch like 3, 4, like a bunch of different small cap names while looking at the market and things that'll likely move with the market. That's a bit much, so I'm going to stick with that one if we can. But here we go. At the end of the day, this is usually what it's all about. It's past 2:30, and he's taking those questions. So when we get something distinct, fair enough. But if the trend is looking like it wants to break higher, do not want to fight the trend past 2:30. That's my modus operandi. I would rather not be doing that. If I am short, it is going to be an EV name. Apple's starting to break out here. Now I got to start thinking about higher lows in VWAP as we start to run on these names. Still have that Oxy. I got Oxy for a bit of profit, but I'm more concerned with getting into one of the big cap techs now that you're getting a higher low. We're not going to get 185s, it seems like, on Apple.
We've already broken this down, man. We are now multiple. We do this every Fed day. So thank you so much for watching, man. Thank you so much for joining. We always have big viewers on here, and now I know why. I mean, this Tesla, $3 in the money. Microsoft, $2 in the money. Who next? That's all we're asking right now. What else are we gonna do? Nike, 70 cents in the money. Disney, let's go. I mean, we're right here right now. This is another big day here. Disney right back up to the top. We should have, instead of worrying about the bottom, we should have just bought that bottom. Wow, $3. This is not one, not two, but it's a $3 club right now for Tesla off that bottom. We left it alone until we didn't, and there it goes, booming right there for Tesla. And it's not even Tesla, dudes and everybody. Microsoft. Microsoft is like, look what we did. Look what we've done. So far, so good here. Let's just see if it continues to go, man. Yeah, still the same for me. Just sitting here, enjoying it, and hopefully trying to make a little bit of money for everybody. So wow, are we ever doing that? Huge moves continue, man. Nike, Microsoft, Disney, man, we're starting to get excited. And there it goes, another move to the upside. I don't even have time to tweet these out. We're just going right now. $3 Microsoft. $3 Tesla, $2 Microsoft, almost $1 Nike, and 20 cents there in Disney. Plus, we already cleaned up on Intel on the short. So it's like the short wins, the long wins. We're here every day.
That's right, every single day, but today is definitely a different day. Intel just absolutely flew. So I just put a stop order for this run break in case it does happen. I'm talking about Rumble. I jumped out of Lucid. Do not want to fight the trend.
Oh, shit.
Not fighting trend. Hard stops all the way. If you're going to break, you're going to break. Once we get out that top on Rivian, I'll decide that that's out. I got Plug. I got Oxy to the long side. We didn't grab just yet. Apple, it hasn't yet broken the highs, but it's about to. Brendan, what else do you have?
Interesting, guys. He's essentially saying that they have 6 months of data that is suggesting that they've done what they need to do in that 6 months, but 6 months might not be enough entirely to say they've done the entire job, and also said they're not at 2% yet. So the market moving back to the upside, it seems like, because they've won, if you will, the last 6 months, but need more data.
All right, we're $4 in the money on Tesla, and we're just going to sit here and watch this go. It's going to be a good one. It's still going. There it goes, 192 and change. I mean, come on right now. What's up, my wife? Thank you so much for watching. Getting energized again right now as Microsoft 2, Tesla's going, Disney's going, everything's going, everything is going. So let's just keep on watching this. I don't even want to do anything else. I'll just call up some names for everybody. Apple, again, ooh. This is maybe looking like a short. I'm not shorting anything. But this one right here, back up to 186.50. Take it if you want, not this guy. This may be a break long. I'm just, honestly, I told you I was hands off. We identified Tesla. We broke Tesla down. We gave that to you. Patrick graduated over here. Great move on Tesla. Great move on Microsoft. He did it, I don't think. Poor Patrick. But there it is. Nice move to the upside as we're going. $4. So it's a good move for Tesla, and I'm just going to hold, man. I mean, this could continue to go. Remember I said that Microsoft could get positive on the day? I mean, I still do not think that that's out of the realm. So let's see if this can go. We still have got pieces on. We have multiple outs we could still take. So let's go back up to the upside here on SOFI. 406, next target. I know I'm crazy, but let's wait to see what does happen. Ask my wife. She's in the chat. She knows that I'm a little bit... So here we go. 406 is target there for that. Tesla, we're already above the highest part of all day. So we'll have to wait for maybe yesterday's levels. 193 just came in. That's a good move there for Tesla and we're just still blowing to the upside here. Nike's now $1. We have $3 on right now. This Nike, I mean, look at this Nike trade. Sure, we trade earnings, we trade Fed, we trade news. All right, back over to Neil. I'm going to tweet this.
Rumble just broke that high. Someone asked where the squeeze plays. Like, these names don't always have to run, but Rumble is more than just whatever is happening with the Fed. This is the reason I said I like the $7 break on Rumble. It's a triple top anyways, so this is a trade that I would have put this on whether it's a Fed day or not because of the triple top on the day. It looks like it's in the middle of nowhere right now. Going to give it back into that 690 level. Plug is starting to go. That was a calm trade because it just sat there showing you the support level. and now it's just sort of grinding higher. So you didn't really have to worry about that one flexing on you, and it's sort of the same thing with Oxy, which I was trading off this level regardless. This is something we were doing in the middle of the day. If it breaks out VWAP, we try to make that continuation play. But the new position alert for me was Rumble, and that $7 breakout. Triple top on the daily. Its short float is, I'll double check it. I want to see, it's double digits. I don't remember the exact number, but pretty significant. And it has been on a bit of a tear. If it gets to $8, fair enough. But this level right in there, 750, that's that lower high. I want to get something out. Probably quarters first, then 50 after. That'll be a target. It's late in the day. You don't have all day for this to go. So you got to be able to get out this in the next like 30 to 40 minutes. That's Rumble.
All right, everybody, we have a lot of viewers on right now, so I am going to look for I'm trying to find the roll call. Let's do a quick little roll call and see who's here with us. There it is. What's up to everybody? I love you too, Sebastian. Let's do this. If you're in the chat right now and you're a subscriber, let's go. We're $4 in the money on Tesla. We're $2 in the money on Microsoft. Let's see if we can liven this place up a little bit. Yo, what's up to Pitch Bulls here? Yeah, he knows about Tesla. Hey, Ivato man, he's here. Anu Deep is here. Oh, hey, my wife. What's going on? Oh, hey, Benton. What's up, Mark? What's up, Dan McIsaac says, yo. What's up, Teddy? Patrick is in the building. Okay, now my computer can't even keep up with this. Yo, what's up, Toilet Brush? What's up, Luis? What's up, Hurt Scrambler? I know all you guys from the recap show. What's up to Matt? What's up to Pirlo? Hey, Pirlo, what's up, Pirlo? Good goalie for Italy there. What's up to Patrick again? What's up to Hayden? What's up to Gregory? What's up to my wife? What's up to Adam DeLuz? What's up to KND? What's up to everybody? And what's up is the market. Thank you so much for watching one more time. As you can see, this has been a big day. Yo, what's up, Sailor Moon? Yeah, man, we are really, really cruising now, guys. We're $250 in the money now on Microsoft. We're $450 in the money on Tesla. And now we're 80 cents in the money on Nike. I said, it's funny because Marissa was watching and I said, this could be disastrous if this goes to the downside. She messaged me, said, no disaster. And I said, no worries. Here we go. Nice move upside there for Nike. Nice move up for Microsoft. Nice move up for Tesla. Maybe it's time, but we said 406. I'm going to put a 405.50 bid out for Microsoft. Let's see if that gets hit. Thank you, Kit Kat. Love you.
Kit Kat, name of the game. We were just talking about getting hangry, but it's all about the fun, realistically. But I got to put some trails in. If we're gonna let these go, you got to respect. If we can't, like this name, if we can't break VWAP and get to the high, I'm getting out before it gets back to 58. I like VWAP as an indicator. If we can't break it, it is what it is. It's the same thing with Plug. I'll get to that one in a second. Rumble, it's working. It's not nearly as fast as I would like it on a $7 break, but I got to respect the fact that it broke out a local high here 10 cents earlier. It's a $7 stock, so there's sellers when it gets to 10. There's probably sellers when it gets to 15 and 20 before you get to the 25 level. So I want to give this some time to get to the upside, but it is the new position for me. Jumping back onto, I said I might look at ARM. That was definitely, it would have been the right thing to do. Is what it is. I jumped over. Like you saw what happened. I saw the Rumble break. We took the Rumble break. But ARM looking pretty decent for a potential breakout trade. If we are taking the stairs up and Powell's going to sustain this move, then previous breakout into support is what I look for next. So dip would have to be into 71.60. Somewhere in front of that. Stop out would be probably 40 to 45. And then give it a little bit of room to work there. But ARM now green on the day. That's what Powell can do. Can he sustain it now that the sellers have come in? My trail's in on Oxy. Going to give a little bit more room to Rumble. Plug, we already have offers into the high of the day. But ARM is the one that broke out, and I would like to get a dip buy if we can catch it.
Oh, man. So I just took some out on Microsoft. So it's a good thing we came back right now. If you guys want to, I said I was waiting for 405.50. I still am, but we told you we have multiple outs possibly coming. So there's an out right now at 403. The only thing is like that high of 404, it's just, I don't want to run into this as being a problem. Then I'll look back and be like, why didn't we just get out? Like we extended it out. The futures are now falling back down. So I just took it out, 403.83, I think. 403, yeah, 403.83. So if you want it, you can get it at the same levels right now. This is obviously a big move, so I'm thinking about like 192.50 maybe as an out. I just don't want to get really wicked out. Oh, she's asking a question here, understanding the economy was like open table. I don't know, yeah, maybe after a day like today, we got to make some reservations. So, hey, Marissa, call open table and figure that out. 193 right here. Let's see what's going on. 194 maybe for a top. If we could take 5 clean on Tesla, maybe that's just what we do. You know, I don't want to get out because it's only 249.
Oh, wow, a firm.
We still have so much. Oh, if a firm is running.
You don't want to know where it just turned.
It doesn't matter.
It was right at the week's high.
Oh, really? Okay, 44. Oh, that's okay. That's not too bad. Yeah, nice move up there for. You can go to Neil's screen.
It's more that like that's a stock that we usually short the pop on 100 times out of 100. You know what? I'll be honest about this. The last time I was convicted on a short on a firm on a Fed day, it was my worst stock. It was like everything worked except for shorting a firm on that day. That's probably the reason I didn't jump on over to it. But you gotta pick your battles, man. At the end, but this was dead on. The crazy thing about it is if we take out highs, this might be a squeeze breakout. If anything, this might be a breakout play if it holds higher lows. This is exactly the kind of name that can rip faces off. And I know that because it did one time rip mine off. I'd be thinking about a breakout if we can get through 17.5 on the NASDAQ. Why not take a long through there?
You see what? You see, like, you don't actually have to be short to make money on sales, right? So, like, here's a good example. Microsoft. We just sold it and talked about this with you. You know, you could see, look, I don't need to prove, honestly, I just put this in the chat, like, I never need to prove anything because all of our trades are right there. You guys can see what we're doing and then take the profit for yourself wherever really you want to. You know, all we can do is break it down. You know, we don't show our net, but you can ask us. I'll tell you green or red on names. There's Tesla, okay? So right there, we just gave up $1.50, right? We got out at 192.50. It's a $3.50 winner. Right? We're not going to cry for that kind of a trade. So we're going to get in and we're going to get out, and we're almost at the highest spot we've been at all day. What's up, Brendo?
So he was just asked directly if he thinks he has achieved a soft landing. His answer to that is no, and they still have a ways to go to achieve a soft landing.
Okay, well, we got out of all of our, I mean, I don't know what you're still holding. You're still holding the same shares.
I mean,
so
it's the same stuff,
yeah.
But okay, whatever. I mean, the last thing I want to do is like when a comment from the Fed makes you go, you don't want to sit there and overanalyze it and overreact. You just want to stick to your plan when you're trading. So that's my reaction to it. Rumble is still holding above 7. This time, because it couldn't punch through the sellers at 10, I'm just going to join them. If I'm giving it 10 cents, usually I would go 1-to-1 and take some out there. So I will capitulate to throwing an order at 1-to-1 on that name. Rumble's still looking okay. Plug, we did get one fill. I don't know if I want the reload back in a third time at the bottom. Generally speaking, 2 times is enough. And if you can't hold the higher low after 2 times, like, are you kidding me? We'll probably just jump out of that one. But Plug, I put another order in there to try and grab that 70s or the 75s if it does just retrace the range that was already in there for us. Rivian's got to tank way more. I'm staring at that ARM trade and asking myself, do I really still want this dip buy? If it makes another leg down, then I wouldn't have got the higher low because it's already bounced here at 71.70. So you've shown a bid at 71.70. There's not a lot of size on this level too. I'm going to back away from ARM. You know what? ARM spread is like 15 pennies. No. That's the kind of decision you got to make. Like, ARM, compared to when I was trading it this morning, like the spread's like 3 times as big. Like Intel spread's exactly what it normally is. Plug spread's exactly what it normally is. Rumble spread is exactly what it normally is. ARM spread is 3 times as big. Why would I be trying to trade it how you would in the morning? So
people want to know about your Rumble now because it's at 7 again.
It's right at 7. I'm giving it to 690. Like it's just it's that simple. Okay. I'm giving it to 690. If I move my stop, it's rare, but generally speaking, I will move a stop because it hits first target and then I move the stop up. Otherwise, the stop don't move. My stop on Plug is if it breaks this local bottom here, that is $4.52. If it breaks it, I'm out. We talked about using hard stops or not. I use them. So I don't mind saying that. It's my style of trade. I tend to be a little bit more consistent by using the hard stop. Sometimes you make an ugly bad wick and you hate yourself for it. And I'll show you an example of it. I had the bottom on Apple today. I used a hard stop. It was a good price level, a good price area, and it ended up not being the right call. I am on the bid trying to get that VWAP still on Apple, and that could come into play. So I've canceled ARM because I no longer want the dip. I'm looking at Apple, not getting filled here. I'm just underneath 186 in front of VWAP, still looking to grab that fill on the higher low. I can cancel like I said, I can cancel the 185 now. If you got the 185 fill, that's a separate trade. Now I'm looking for the VWAP. Take the stairs up because Powell took the markets up.
I like that. Okay.
For now, anyways.
Yeah. So we just tweeted out our Tesla trade. We're out of it. I mean, whether or not it goes back upside or downside. Look, I'll be even a little more harsh than Neil. I think trading without hard stops is wrong. I'm not even going to say you do your own style. You could do whatever style you want to.
Well, give an
but there's
example.
not one person. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's not one person that I've had on that's a professional trader that doesn't consider themselves a risk manager rather than a trader. And if you don't have an out of a trade, then don't even, that's not, you and I, we're still cool, but that's not the trading style that I would support. So I just want to say that, hey, if you don't have a stop, that's your funeral. It doesn't, to me, if you're going to trade baby shares and you're in sim mode, shout out to Adara, whoever else trades little shares and is in sim mode, fine. But you're not, if you're going to have...
I actually think that's worse.
Okay, whatever. If you have, we'll talk about that in a minute. If you have a strategy that allows you to not have a stop, you're never going to be able to raise your share sizes. Okay, so honestly, whatever you guys want to do, but I'm just saying that I'll be a little more harsh. I don't think that's the appropriate way to trade.
Well, I said the exact same thing. There are styles to trade where I won't use it. I've traded buyouts in the past. I don't use hard stops on buyouts because the stock moves 3 or 4 cents. If I'm not capable of punching out on my level with my 2 hands, then I'm doing something wrong in that particular style. But where I disagree is I think it's worse to practice in the way that you won't play. All of the greatest players I know practice executing and trading in the manner in which they are going to do so when it really matters.
Except Allen Iverson.
Okay, fine, except for Allen Iverson. I love it. Look, I love Allen Iverson. I think he's great, but whatever. So Kobe Bryant, they're gonna treat practice exactly the same. And ask a great poker player, whether it's 510 or 500, 1,000 blinds, they're going to be able to make the same decision. So you want to practice the way you play. So if you're going to need to use a hard stop when you're trading Tesla or NVIDIA at a 500 break, then when you're aspiring to that as a beginning trader, then you should use them as well, even if you're taking them sides. Who cares? You should have no ego when trading, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, to each their own. I mean, whether you use the stops or not, I'm not using this to say whatever, in your face. But look at Intel. Where was the hard stop on Intel? You tell me. Because if you punch this out manually, you're not getting this fill, which was 25 breaks out of 26. You're not getting that fill manually. I mean, maybe you are if you're really good, but most times you can get some slippage in there, and that's just unnecessary risk. I consider that unnecessary risk. As I look at that, Intel looks pretty bullish off that breakout high. I still like Apple a bit more, but back to it, we're not getting VWAP in here, so we'll probably have to move up a bit on Apple. So try to grab something a little less because we're away from VWAP. And Rumble's still doing the same thing. We're not really, it broke 7 and now it's consolidating off of 7. But as I said, the first time there were sellers at 10, I'll just join them if 1-to-1 is going to be that level. So I just jumped and got the offer on Rumble. It's still making this breakout. And I feel as if Rumble might have been better without this being a Fed event, to be honest with you. Because if this was doing it on its own with whatever catalyst in the morning or maybe some pre-market hype and then it takes out a triple top, I don't think Rumble takes out a triple top like this and only goes 10 cents initially, if not for the fact that people are looking at other stuff right now. So it's still okay, and I still like the breakout technically, but this probably would have been a heck of a lot better if this happened at 9:30 or 10 o'clock for Rumble.
Can we get the SPX moving? Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, this is honestly, guys, that's why. This is why we go on that little bit of a rant just to talk about something, because the market right now, we've already, the damage has already been done. We basically, we did our whole day there in 10 minutes. So that was good. We do miss that top up there. And that's what I'm saying. So this was a stop, 192.50, right? Obviously, you manage your positions. Ultimately, you never want any of your positions to run your stops, but sometimes that happens, and it just prevents you from having big losers, right? I mean, that's what it's about. All right, so Nike, that went right to the 200. So it's like we should have, instead of just seeing blue skies, we could have got out of some of these even better than where we did. So there was a lot of opportunities. We just talked about, remember we talked about, oh no, it was Disney, wasn't it? Breaking, yeah. So, or was it Nike? It probably was Disney. Disney's gonna break as well. Look at Disney. Like Disney, the same thing. Disney went up above 97. And now it looks like you're gonna suffer one more time, breaking back down below here again, 50s. So yeah, that's where my stop is right now. We should have had stops up here, like take profits, and we didn't. So we missed out for that. Powell's still saying we've had 6 great months of inflation data. Expect more to come. So he's expecting better inflation data by the sounds of it. This is a good economy. He still expects growth to moderate. So that's what's happening in my ear right now. Yeah, I mean, the market just got heated up there a little bit. Remember that Boeing trade that we talked about where we said buy the open on Boeing? It doesn't matter what you say, we don't have it, but at least that was a good idea. That was 205. All right, Boeing's now 212. We also broke that down, and not just for context of the show, but context of the podcast as well, and some trade ideas that we gave. I was saying buy after earnings, so that was today. So you buy on open 205, and the trade idea to this one was against this 175 bottom. So that's that there. We're gonna have to watch to see now what happens upside. Apparently, President Trump, whether or not he'll win presidency or not, says he will block the Nippon deal with U.S. Steel if and when he becomes president. I'm already in the best steel name, in my opinion, Nucor, as that just went up 8% and took out all-time highs yesterday. But here we go. This is just one of those things. If you fall back down on X, you'll probably get into the $30 range with no buyer. But the thing is, Nucor had just a monster report yesterday, taking out all-time highs, up 7 or 8% yesterday, plus a nice dividend. So
the only reason it might not drop. There's always a chance that somebody else would buy them. Part of the reason I think the deal could be in trouble is it's a foreign buyer. Like if somebody stepped in for X, what's wrong with my daily chart? Sorry, my daily chart's not loading for X. There's a lot of quotes going through, so sometimes things get slower. But I would suspect there might be other interested parties in X, and the fact that it is a foreign buyer, I think that deal was under pressure before that happened. So I don't think I'd be comfortable. All that comfortable with it. It's not like ATVI, man, where a lot of really smart money thought that deal was going through. Every time it dipped, all you would hear is a lot of people putting real money in, including like Warren Buffett, saying they thought that was going to happen. I don't get that same sense necessarily with U.S. Steel. I did jump into Apple. I'll give it to the 3-quarter mark. If it can't hold it, there it goes. It just could not hold on, and I do not want to fight what now looks like a bit of a downtrend. We said where we'd get out of rum. The second I get first target, stop moves up. Pretty simple. Was at 90 before. First target, my first target moved. Once my first target moved, the stop moves to the upside as well. That's just how I trade breakouts. It should work right away. If it can't work right away, we got to jump out of it. We'll be at a plug in a couple of seconds here. Rivian is finally starting to head to the downside. Let me just...
what was weak today, Mike?
On a bigger note here, just for plug power, if it holds a higher low, I might jump back into this. On the higher time frame, although we're running out of time, if at a higher time frame, I do like this 90 level, if it can come back in. But the original trade, we are out of it. And then before we go back into Brendan, I was just into Rivian until 1625 broke, but until it got underneath 80s. Like, I'm not jumping in with an average of 16 to risk 25 cents to try to make 10. Like, it had to go down into 25 cents 1-to-1 for me to get out. Now that it has, I'm starting to take it out. I said Rivian had to break that 16-quarter mark from the high, and that's what we ended up giving to Brendan.
He said, guys, it's unlikely that they will have enough confidence by the March meeting that there would be cuts at the March meeting. So he basically just took that off the table.
That thing.
And I just got out, and we went short Apple, so I heard the same comment before. But Apple's not really doing anything. It already went to the downside. So we'll hold this. No rate cut. I don't know, man. You guys know my whole thing on this one. Sharif just ran to go listen to the podcast. I was saying that we could get a dump down off of this number. We've been talking about that. And so maybe it's what's happening right now, as everything's been fine until it's not. So let's just wait to see on that one. We'll short Apple because it's been under pressure, but I don't really want to do too much of this, especially if we take VWAP. So a break back above 186 and we'll get out. Small starter position. We'll build it back into 186. But again, Apple's reporting tomorrow night. So that's the other thing. And then we just got out of Microsoft for flat. So we already took the profits there. You see what I mean? Here's the Tesla story. So for everybody that was like, you know, there's the hard stop on Tesla. You want to buy it back, go ahead. I am not. We made a lot of money by just getting out of our longs. Like, it's like saving money. So nice move in. Let's see if this market really wants to collapse. Here we go again on Apple. We'll bid some 185s, take 30 cents. Then if this market really wants to collapse, we free riding right now on Apple.
A penny saved is a penny earned. I read that somewhere. I don't remember where, but I promise you I was under like 10 years old when I heard it, and it's still true today. I don't care what anybody tells you. But it's just as good as it doesn't. It actually, when you're trading, it literally doesn't matter. Like whether you save an amount or you make it, every time you get into a trade, there's like a sunk cost of where your out happens to be. So whether you're saving a loss or earning a profit, it ends up the same thing. You put the capital into a trade, at that point, you have a sunk cost. You just got to get out. And speaking of it, where do we say we're getting out of plug? If it couldn't hold that level underneath the 450, we just jump right out of it. Got 49s. Again, a hard stop when 50 breaks gets you out at 49. I'm not saying you couldn't get 49s. Maybe you could. You probably still could. It's got plenty of liquidity, but a hard stop is a hard stop, and we're going to make sure we take it.
Did Rumble hit that level of 90?
It did. Well, no. I moved. Remember, I got first target,
okay, yeah, right.
So I moved the stop up, and it's exactly the same concept. It didn't hit 90, but we moved it to taking 10s instead of 20s. The second we got that and there were still sellers at 10s, I moved my stop back up into the break even and looked for the next trade. The next trade would be checking for a bounce at 9. Maybe it's back in at 7 even. I don't know. We'll let the market decide. We still got 45 minutes till rebalance, till the imbalances come out. We got 25 minutes till the early look. We got Powell still on the podium. There's plenty of time. If this stock wants to squeeze, I mean, if I end up getting out of a 7 long and then I'm taking a 690 or a 710, it's not going to be the end of the world. What I will tell you is, Christopher, did you check LUNR? I have not looked at that stock. Jimbo Slice, I wanted to get this question. I knew there were some questions. I was forgetting something. Does it not just totally wreck your brain to think about the number of transactions that have happened in the last 35 minutes to go up 130 points down and 160 on the NQ? You know what? Not really, because we see this all the time, right? So like how many times, we see this all the time where you get this rubber band action or whipsaw, like rubber, whatever you want to call it, like whiplash action, where you essentially just travel the range back and forth and eventually make a direction. It looked like it wanted to be long. Now you're breaking out the lows. There was a moment where we're breaking out those highs. You know, unfortunately for me, I really only like DV short. And I'll go back, you know, I'm going to show Lucid first because this will probably, I like to make fun of myself before, like Rivian, I had my target, and I'm like, I'm shorting into 1625. That's it. With Lucid, I didn't really have that plan of action. I just jumped into Lucid underneath the 60 level because I had 60 as a key level on the daily chart. I stop it out, and that's what happens. Like, you don't have the conviction in the trade, then I'm not averaging into it. I'm not adding as it gets to the high. I'm just getting out with the tight stop, whereas Rivian, I'm like, no, we're shorting this one. I had a 16 priced into 16.25. My first profit take was when it got to 25 cents in the money. And then when it got to the actual low, takes them out. I don't see why this can't get back down into the 15.40 range where there were a lot of buyers 2 days ago on Rivian. That was a good bottom for Rivian as it continues to go to the downside. Maybe at some point I will check LUNR, but yeah, if you stray from the names that you were watching or prepared to trade on a Fed day, I tend to think that's a bit of a mistake. I went to Rumble because I was looking at that break all day long, not because it just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, I still think it's good to stay focused, like we mentioned. That 170 short would have been, remember I canceled it, it would have been fine, but on AMD. Apple, I mean, what's up, Kevin Mendoza? I mean, we did right by flipping over to the short, but Apple's not, I mean, we went 25 cents in the money, but we were bidding 185 and it didn't fill us. When we were bidding 185.02 on Apple, you just asked if you should go long on VWAP. I don't mind going long at 167 down there if it can get down there. It's really, we missed this short, so that's already done. What was Apple's low there? So we were at 185.02. It went to 185.06. So, oh no, I'm waiting for 80s. Okay, yeah, 80s is where VWAP is. Okay, so we just spiked up there. This is a very small position, but we are going to take more. The only thing is, like Powell came out and said no rate cuts, right, in March.
Boo.
So that's not, yeah, exactly. That's not good. I'm going to refresh this now. Now that he said that, I mean, I assume this will be much higher. Yeah, there it is. No, that's January still. I don't think we might have not hit this yet. So they're actually still predicting a cut, but let's just wait to see if that can get updated because that's what we heard. That's what Brendan came with. Let's just see if that's going to hit or not. So just the only trade that I'm in, and we'll talk about it because why not? Again, we will have a hard stop. Like it's going to have to break above this 186.20 area, but I want to get more shares at 80, then more shares at 86, and then give this a little bit. Our average price at that time will hopefully be about 185. This is just going to be a prediction. 185.80 maybe. So worth taking 40, 50 cents on that break, 186.30. So that's going to be my stop. Here it comes. So we're about to get more short here on Apple as we speak.
Oh, I just saw it firm. You know what? You try not to. You don't want to get FOMO, but let's be real. If I wasn't short a firm at the top, I certainly wasn't going to short it at the bottom. And it looks absolutely fantastic if you got it. Ron Miller, no, Neil, not EV short. Why not? I'm genuinely curious. What's the reason for no EV short? Maybe not Tesla. I'm not watching them. Look, if I had shorted Nikola at 80, oh goodness, that was.
Bitcoin's tanking.
No, this is easier. Oh, for the love. This is a better trade. This is a better trade. I mean, if you can tell me that you go right to the week's high, or right to the week's high, like Monday's top, wicket, and the high of the day on Nikola isn't 79.5 or 79.99 cents. It's literally 8-0 on that move. Like I started trading as a day trader. The first thing I made money on was penny stocks. Like when I graduated as a penny stock trader. But like it doesn't get any easier than that. Like 80 cents and you just short 79.5. That's some low-hanging fruit. Rivian may work, or Rivian might continue to work, but trust me, that's the better for me. That's the better trade. Would have been Nikola off that 80 level, but you got to stick to what you were looking at. I was looking at Lucid and Rivian. I was looking at Intel and Apple, and obviously Plug Power and Rumble. I picked those names, so I didn't pick I didn't pick Nikola, and so I will miss that. Sometimes you just want to do more prep work. You know, if I had looked at a couple more EV names, maybe I would have come up with Nikola. It's not a guarantee, but it's that possibility. And you've got all afternoon. Everyone talks about how boring it is in the middle of the day when it's a Fed day. Well, guess what? That means you have that much extra time to put your prep in for when this happens, right? So I'm telling you live that adding this to the list of EV names would have made a heck of a ton of sense for Nikola. And why not? Beat up names get worse, and maybe I could have made back the loss on this break that we have. We lost $1.50. But you got to check the name, man. You got to do it first.
Protect your neck. There we go. We just got out some more Apple right there. We took a fill there, and there it is. So 65s. We were waiting for 80s. We're waiting for more shares. We'll still take it if it comes back through. And then we just got to fill at 31s right now on Apple. So a quick little 20-cent scalp, but our average price was probably about 15 cents worth of a scalp. So that's it. Back and forth. I still have a 185. I'm not changing any of my bids. Still think we can go a little bit lower here on this name. So yeah, I believe you're right, Lone Sophos. Much more pain ahead. Let's just see if that is correct on that play. So if we're talking about pain, we know we want to get short names. So you know the name that I love to short is going to be a firm. Obviously, that's all the way down now. We could still short this if it comes back up to 43, but I should have shorted that. It's probably been my most profitable stock all month, and we should have hit that. So that's my bad. We should have had that instead of taking 350 on Tesla. But you know, either way, it's like what Neil said. You do the best that you can. You guys can see my positions. Like now we're short Apple. There's 20 cents in the money. I can't worry about missing something else. It's you work with the trades that are in front of you, and we did choose that Apple. So let's go over to something else now and look. I mean, we've done really well on Tesla, and that's, again, this could be it. I mean, this is another good opportunity. If you like Tesla right here, against that, my stop was going to be 188.50. That's where it bounced off of. But again, I think this looks like it's worth the risk to reward, at least 1-to-1, right? You take a 189. We just gave that bottom there. So if you like, I don't like the long now. I'm short. So, but this 189 on a strong name, like Tesla's not going to be strong, but you've already seen the move. If the market goes, this will go. So I call this a strong name because I would favor the long on this. I just don't favor the long in the market right now. So I think for 189, if you like it and it's your kind of a trade, like we said, you guys don't put a hard stop if you don't want to, but I think this is a decent trade. 189 to go 1-to-1. We've just seen it bounce back like 5-6 times in a row. These are just 1-minute charts. 1-minute charts, so 1-minute candles. And you've basically now had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so minutes where you would have been able to at least get like 30 cents. Obviously, you're not going to scalp the top and the bottom, but if you just bid and offer somewhere in there, you get 30 cents. Way too dangerous of a game for this guy. We're not going to do it. We're going to lay our head on this Apple short for a couple minutes until we break above 186, and I'm going to go get coffee.
Coffee? I was about to finish that sentence before I thought you were going to fill up your water, because I finished mine too. But look, one of the things I know, because Sean's got to get ready for the aftermarket show, which is interesting because I was just about to look at Qualcomm. And if you look at names that have held out at VWAP, this is doing a pretty decent job of it going into earnings after the bell tonight. I think it's the only. Okay, there's a lot that's reporting. It's a very busy day for earnings. It's the biggest name and probably the one that most people care about. Tomorrow morning there's a couple as well. But the volatility is still intact here. Like, it's not barcoding just yet. It's showing a lot of volatility off these levels. Someone in the chat was, and my response to that with Rivian was, someone had said, hey, don't worry about Rivian, blah, blah, blah. Chill out, Rivian bears. We're day trading, so we're on a day trading prop floor. Every trade that we take here that you see live on the position board is just a day trade to be covered at the end of the day. Every now and then we will tell you our opinions on, our just personal opinions on what we do in our own personal accounts. I went long as a shot play on Rivian. I am long in my personal account in front of the 15 on Rivian. And this is one of those I just plan on holding on to it. It has to do something drastic if it goes out of business or goes into single digits, maybe I'll cover it, but I'm looking for that in the long term. Some of these names have to survive, in theory, that are not Tesla and are not legacy auto, so I don't mind picking a shot like that, but I'm just not, I'm not out here saying, just because I'm short the stock right now, and was like, I want to look to short EVs if Powell tanks the market. That had more to do with just the day trade. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't invest in an EV company. I just think if you're doing so, you got to be willing to have a little bit of pain. And I think holding on to Rivian in the next year might have to endure a little bit of pain. And I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't think so. But Qualcomm worth watching. Rumble is holding on to 7 even. I think there was a mistake to get out of this. So the only way to rectify a mistake of getting out of a stock is to try to get back in. And it's this. And look what it did at $7 for the last this is not 5 minutes. This is about 10 minutes or so. Just sideways, broke a couple of times, and immediately there's a buyer at 7 even. So those wicks are to 95. Go long in front of, what I'm going to do. You do whatever you want to do. Long in front of 7, stop to 95. And if it breaks out the high at 10s, I think it's an add. So I'd probably add on this breakout. Rumble's short float, which I keep saying I will check. Let's do it live. There you go. It's 15%.
Oh, okay.
It's exactly 15%. These are just estimates from Trade Ideas here. We all use Trade Ideas on the show, so just, it could be 17, it could be 14, but everyone has their own way of estimating it. It's double digits. That's what matters to me.
Yeah, that's a big one there. All right, I missed your Rivian talk, but I know you're already trading it. So we're going to wait to see about what happens here with Apple. So it's really starting to come in a little bit here. And this is what I was saying about trying to trade your book and trying to make sure that you're on the names that you want to be on because you understand them better. So I'm just going to put a bid right there. I'm going to cancel my 185 flat. So I just got out at 15 there because I want to make sure we get out right here. I don't want to wait for this 02 area. But at the same time, I want to have shares on board for when we rock this thing down. So rockabye baby, the cradle's about to break here on Apple, down through 185, just momentarily. Be patient. Hopefully this can break down in. So if it does, we're sitting here. We like this trade, and hopefully this continues to get more spicy, to be honest with you. Look, we called this kind of a market move. The market's not crashing. This is not like, you know, Obi having like heart palpitations beside me, by the way, who Obi will be in tomorrow, by the way. So shout out to that.
It's just not guaranteed. It's
okay, all right.
Hopefully she's feeling. My daughter's not feeling well.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was guaranteed.
It's pretty likely, but
yeah, okay, well, whatever. I mean, I hope you're here.
I hope she gets better. I mean,
yeah, I hope she gets better. I like that you're here, but I mean, Obi's great as well. So I would
love Obi.
Better for the safety and well-being of the child, of course. All right, so if Apple bounces off 185, that wouldn't also not surprise me, but I'm here for max pain. So let's go to the downside now with Apple, see if we can get that. Also, Microsoft, I feel like that was a good opportunity there as well. We got out of that. This could be max pain trade, breaking through 400. But I kind of like Microsoft a little bit better than Apple at these levels. So we'll see if we can hold on to that one right now. Here we go. It's 50 cents in the money. It's Apple, and I'm probably just going to marry this one and see what happens moving forward. Shout out to my wife. I'm still married to you, of course.
Obviously. So I'm into Rumble. It took out the top. I thought we'd get dipped by first, but we got the breakout. So the only way to rectify getting out of position is to jump back into it. You saw it hold 7. Stops in at 95. The longs in here at 12s. I got a partial fill at 11, and then I added at 12 to get the rest of it. I was like, whatever. I could leave the bid at 11, but I didn't.
Perfect.
Powell has now left the podium.
Perfect.
Sometimes you get a reversal
See ya.
at that time of day. Certainly possible, but I'm looking for the move still to the downside. I'm holding on to Rivian. Intel's still strong. Get out of here, Mira.
Intel?
Why is the market on this market dip? Intel, it's not that strong.
Come on, Mira.
I expected it to be at the highs, or close enough to the highs. It's right back to where we were shorting it before.
Oh, it went down to VWAP? No.
Don't give me the same trade as before.
You need a max win on win? Oh, I see what you did there, Leon Salvatore. That's a nice one.
Did I just hear the max win?
Well, because I said I'm looking for max pain, and he's like, he wants a max win here. So, all right, let's go over to Brendo.
Just real quick, guys, the only real surprise that came from that was the March comment suggesting that they're not ready to make any changes as soon as March. So that maybe get kicked down the road, as we've been saying, May or June comes into play. Everything else was exactly the same as what we've heard, data dependent. We'll go by the numbers and meeting to meeting.
Well, there you go. So, okay, I mean, the Fed is supposed to go by the numbers anyways, so thank you for confirming that, Mr. Powell. And we will, of course, wait for his phone call, but I feel like he's going to be a little busy. We don't need to hear from him that much. So I choose max aggressiveness here. But Apple, when Powell just left the building there, I thought that we would have gone the other way. I thought we were going down. Because generally speaking, he has things to say, and generally, they're dovish. But today he was mentioning about possibly no more rate hikes, or rate cuts, sorry. Obviously, if he mentioned rate hike, where it was cancel all bids immediately. But I mean, I guess so. I think if shocked the market like that, I feel like that would be if he hiked the market. But yeah, so I just put another bid at 20 on Apple. So about that whole, like, I choose pain, no, I choose money. If this can come back into 185.20, we'll lose some of this bravado and get out because it's not acting the way we thought it would. Microsoft, we just talked about that at 400. Like, we wrote down these levels. If you take away today's actions, I know you mentioned this on Rumble as well. If you just sort of take away how the trading's going right now, like look at this Intel. Actually, that's why I wanted to call this up because only calling it up because it was brought up on the show there. But like that just dipped into VWAP. That's a buy. That's a buy here at the 200 on a strong name. These are buy levels. It's just because of the day, you choose to be a little more careful about what you choose. So that's just going to be something there that you got to have a bias. And I cannot, we talked about trading styles. I got to say, you know, my hat's off to people that are continuing to sort of trade their setups right now, because for me, I'm a little more conservative when this happens, waiting for the best prices, you know, rethinking about our strategies and so on and so forth. So yeah, that would have worked right there on Intel, and congratulations. And let me guess, Tesla's probably just ripped up again. So Tesla, no, the scalping still continues, man. We went to 180, like look at that. We went to 188.50 and turned around again down there. So like honestly, it's still working, man. So the market could start to go right back up to the upside right now. The longs, yes, dips in ships. I think the long could be the play right now.
Dips in ships. That's a new one. Dips and chips. That's what I'm all about.
Chips would make sense, yeah.
I go for some chips right now.
Yeah.
So look at the same bottom here on Rivian. I guess it doesn't want the low from today. That would have been a lot of fun. But if we're just wicking the lows, I got to tighten things up here. Going to give it to that 1570. This is not. I want more trend than this. And you were just talking about setups. Like, I didn't really see anything that was setting up for a new trade outside of like going back into Rumble. It took out the high. Now it's back to barely even moving. This one might have just been better if it wasn't a Fed day, because like Rumble up 15%, making fresh highs. You'd think you'd go squeezing. I should have just stuck to dip buying this, because taking a breakout trade this late in the day, I can't give it past this low to work. So I'm just going to have to stop out at 95, which is not necessarily ideal. So it'll be a tight stop. I was trying to talk myself into Intel, but really what's weak and has a chance to get back up, if there is going to be another leg to the downside, then I want low of the day on Rivian. I'm just going to hold that. But a firm doesn't seem to want to break out today's bottom. Support to resistance on a firm. So support at the open, and now resistance late in the day. Show me 25 cents worth of risk in a firm and a low of the day that is 80 cents lower, and I see an opportunity. Let's go to Brendan and take care of some business.
This segment of the show brought to you by Simpler Trading. Want Danielle's 3 favorite option strategies for tracking any market condition? Get our most popular tools and training bundle today for just $47.
We're going to have Daniel Shea on tomorrow, maybe? Oh, yes, maybe tomorrow on the recap show. I'll find out for you. All right, so there it is right there. Spin it. We changed our mind up, but it doesn't matter. We're still banking out right now. Apple will be obviously a positive trade for me today because we didn't trade it earlier. We just shorted right now. So like I said, we're still choosing downside, but we also choose to cover a third of our position. So we were short at 54 right there. This trade basically comes out here, and now we're just working with this, right? We use here first in, first out.
Yeah, that's
sort of a FIFO there. That's what we're going to be using, and so you don't really ever get to see, like, you see an average price, but then when we start getting out of it, it changes everything. So sometimes you'll see the prices at the bottom. I mean, I'm only in one position, so that's why I'm trying to explain why all of a sudden my short just looks so much sweeter right now than it was before. But our average short was 54s. So just letting everybody know, we take a 30 fill there, that's 25 cents. It did go into the 20s. We'll wait for more on that one now for Apple. Oh, and then a new trade idea. AMD. If we can short this pretty much now, I just put an offer at 40. So here it comes up right now. I just want to give it to this top wick of 60, that's all. We're at the 50 period moving average. I'm still choosing down here right now. Oh, wow. It just went to 27. I was at 36. Okay, it doesn't matter. Hopefully it'll come back up. But that was, next time I'm going to say that I'm going to get short, then we're going to say the idea. How about that? So right there, it just dropped 50 cents and the futures did nothing. So maybe it'll come back up and give us that again. Obviously, we don't have any influence whatsoever on a huge stock like AMD or anything. I'd hope so.
That said, punch first sometimes makes sense, because as you're explaining the idea, no, because then by the time it finished, I've done that myself. Someone just asked me if a firm is going down. I mean, I don't know. I just, like, my reason for wanting short, trend down, support level there, resistance at the same spot, short it, risk 25 cents, takes them out 1-to-1, try to get the low of the day. Like, that's the setup, that's the trade. So that's all I'm going to do. Like, whether it goes down from here or not, in the trade, it doesn't matter. at this point. It's just you cast the dice to set up the risk reward, and that's the end of the story. Rumble, it's probably going down now, but it's bounced again off 7. Somebody likes $7 on Rumble, so I shouldn't have taken the breakout. I should have just taken 7 and saved myself 10 cents on Rumble. But I didn't, so I'll lose an extra 10 cents if this breaks down. The dip buy is better. It's that simple. Affirm is going down. I'm on the bid at 1-to-1, and then hopefully we can get the low of the day here. We'll get the early look on the imbalances in a couple minutes. Sometimes you get a little something on a Fed day, but it's been a nothing burger, the imbalances. I think the trend post-podium is more important than any imbalances that come out.
So when you look down at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that we're short AMD right now, and we just gave it to you 169.36. It's now 40 cents in the money in a matter of 2 minutes. So we took some out. Obviously, we're going to wait now for a downside move right here. So first outs is like 20, 16s. I don't know. I can open up the 4. We got 04s as well, by the way, on this level. So here we go. Nice move to the downside for AMD. We just scalped 40 cents. Like,
here we go.
I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't know if we're making it seem like easier than it is or not. But like, these are not like we just got 81s there. Like, we just took 50 cents, no, 60 cents on AMD just in a matter of seconds. This is not for the faint at heart. So just follow us. And hopefully we'll be able to sort of hold hands and get through this and make a little bit of cash, right? I mean, that's what we're all here for. So there it is right there. We'll spin it again for everybody that's following. But let's just, I mean, we can review what we gave you guys so far here on just I don't know, I can't even have YouTube open, so I don't even know how many people are watching. But 189, 189.50, bang, right? 350 in the money right there. We gave that one to you off the Fed. We gave you Microsoft off the Fed. That's it, 2 for 2. Now we're short AMD, which is just 70 cents in the money right now. And then we're short Apple as well. So we're going to go 4 for 4. How many? 5,300. Okay, we'll take it. Not bad. Similar to the recap show. All right, watch out for everyone. Join me tonight as well. We'll break this all down as well. Just real quick there. And then the other trade that we gave, there was one more. Oh, it was Intel. So Intel, we talked about this heading into this trade where we were going to be short. So we put this on at 140. Then we put this on again at, this is why it's a Fed position. We put it on again at 225. Hit it. So we're going to go 5 for 5 here, giving you trades for Fed. So, and by the way, 5 for 5, we just gave you right now. Let's go right here. Sean scalps too much. There's $1 in the money right now for AMD. So again, I don't know how many dollar winners everybody else has, but here's just another one right now. It's AMD and its downside. Today's been a very, very good day.
Absolutely, and it's sort of the same thing. Like we were talking about the setup for the trade. Like it's just about the setup for the trade, and hopefully it makes sense. That's why I tried to go over Affirm. It gets to 1-to-1, you take the 25 pennies. That's the range. Affirm's range at the bottom is $1. So a quarter of that range was that 1-to-1 that we grabbed, and I'll try to get the low of the day here. I'm going to press a little bit further and see if we can't hold on to it. The early look on the imbalances, by the way, just came out, and it's $1 billion to sell. So let's look for the actual low of the day on Affirm. And you know what? I would not have looked at Affirm if not for you guys. And so thank you, because we've probably been talking about Affirm to the red for a while now, but today wasn't even thinking about it at the close show. So thank you guys for pointing it out when it got to that high. Really wish it had been on my radar to just short the week top, but that is what it is. And one goes out. I knew I should have just stuck to the original plan and not chase Rumble. I really was waiting for this break to happen all day long. And well, even yesterday I was looking for $7 to break, and it just, $7, you never got there. Today you got there, I got excited about it. I don't think it was necessarily worth taking the break. The dip buy off 7, fine. That's fine. You can consolidate off there. You can take a scalp trade off of that. But once you're jumping into the breakout, you need some confluence in the market doing something or some added volume. None of that was there, so I'll slap the fail on that one. But you're not going to win all the trades. Should have left it at 1. If I leave it at 1, it wasn't as strong as I wanted. Tight stop, but it is what it is. We're going to still end up, we're happy. I'm not going to complain. It's been a good afternoon. Affirm's going to probably take out that low of the day. We're going to hang on to Rivian at least until 3:30. Any day that ends in green, you should be happy with. But as I said, breakout trades sometimes in the afternoon are not the way to go. In the morning, you got all day for it to work. In the afternoon, buy the dips on the trend. I say it every single day. Today is like the one day this week that I didn't follow it on one of these small caps. Like they'll juxtapose that with what I was doing over in Plug Power. Like no breakouts, man. Just buy the dip. It either works or it doesn't. Don't take the break of the high. Just buy the dips. Buy the dips. That way you lose less. You're not getting that top wick in there and then someone flushes it on you. And it takes a lot of patience to buy the dip because you get the FOMO when it's taking out the high of the day.
I mean, I don't know. I just hope we broke everything down for you. I mean, I consider obviously a trader, and the reason where we started this, like I hired Neil, bring him on here. We've hired some of the best traders that have come through Day Trade the World, and that's where I started, was teaching, right? So when I'm breaking down this AMD trade for you, boom, that's that trade right there, right? When we're breaking down for you trades on Apple and why I like it, this is what it is. You know, the show started because I was talking with all the traders basically at Day Trade the World. It wasn't very efficient. So we started to open up a stream. That's where this came from. And, you know, now you're seeing that day trading and being able to make money doing this is something that's very, very possible. And I just hope that that's what the idea is. Make sure you go. If you're not, you know, if you're outside, unfortunately, of the US, you can join us, man. The same platform, Day Trade the World. Come through, hit it with us, man. I mean, this is, you're seeing these trades, you know, that we've been putting on here, and you yourself can do them as well. You know, be disciplined, have the right levels, have the right mindset. You know, follow us if you want. I mean, to me, it's all about just breaking down the trade.
Chip in a chair, baby.
Like there it is, right there. You know, like it's not. This is very, very transparent. Someone said on there, how could they make money shorting Intel? I mean,
because you have to get out when it breaks that 25. That's
no,
how.
Yeah. Hard stop.
Hard stop.
Here's the thing. It doesn't. This is how you make money. Like I don't. How to answer those questions? I can't really, because I'm showing you like what I'm doing. Like sure, we'll miss trades. Like this Tesla move, great. But look, it's like how could Sean make money on Tesla when Tesla's down? Here's how. Live. I'm not sure what else we can do. So plug in. We're now $1, $2 in the money on AMD. Patrick graduated like 5 times behind me over here. You know what I'm saying? Like these are moves that are happening right in front of you. We have them on. So congratulations. I'm here tomorrow.
And the low of the day is here right now. Now, obviously, when you're day trading, the market goes down, you can short the market. But you know, no one's happy to see the market down 2%. I'm going to get the bid back on the bottom here at Rivian at that 30 level. I've moved it, and I'll show you in a quick second after I get to the futures on Affirm, because I want to let it break the low of the day. But you're now 2% down. You're through the lows on the NASDAQ. The ES is through the lows and down 1.5%. We just took out 48.8. So after 3 o'clock, we trended to the downside. After 2:30, I should say. After 2:30, we reversed, rejected the high, and trended to the downside. You had to look for names that you like. The only name that I was really like, I'm just getting in till it breaks the high of the day, was Rivian, because this morning I added the thing about the EVs that I was into, and I was like, that's going to be the play for the afternoon. And then Affirm was a shout out to everybody here that said Affirm was going. So when you don't get that short, this is a 15-minute chart. The first green candle, to me, that's the first consolidation. So the first consolidation showed you the most obvious possible out, which is if it gets back above that warning wick bottom. It didn't. Now I want to see it break the low of the day. I'm going to have a tight trail on this going into 350 when the imbalances come in. Probably tighten it up to like 41s and then see if we can't just continue to go lower. Affirm down 5%. Let's think about what can happen tomorrow if we get continuation, because this isn't over. And we like a little something in here called these. Ye old flat bottom break. And you know what? The more the stock has gone up, the better the flat bottom break is. Now, this isn't the cleanest one in the world. It's not 136 the other day on Pinduoduo. but this 40 level and maybe check it down to 39, you've got a little bit of room to the downside. Till next level, you got $1 or $2 if you look at the 40 level, and then from there, you still have plenty of room. Lower highs into a flat bottom is a trend down into a potential flat bottom break. So if we like a firm today and we like a firm tomorrow, we're going to like it when it breaks that 40 level. Ideally at the open and not at 3 o'clock so that you have all day for it to run.
All right, it's 3:38. We'll have Chris Breter on tonight, and we actually talked about this earlier on in the day where we sold some Bitcoin yesterday at 43.4 or something like that. Wasn't looking. Oh, this is still a daily chart. Hold on a second. I just want to go over this because over the last couple minutes, Bitcoin did make back into the day's high right there, and then faded out as Powell was speaking and as this market was coming in. It's gonna be hard to see this 2 o'clock here. Oh no, this is 2. We started right here. Oh, I got to change the, I can't even see that font at the bottom there at the time. Oh, now I can, now that I highlight this. Okay, so 12, yeah, 2 o'clock, so right here. Right, so that, the market and Bitcoin has fallen back. So I was actually saying this in the midday show. I was like, oh man, I can't believe I sold some Bitcoin there yesterday. And it was because of this same top is what, oh, thank you. Thank you, Ramin. Is why that happened right there. So anyways, Bitcoin trying to drop in, and I just want to talk about this 42.4 level. That's held. But if that breaks, it also kind of goes back to here. I feel like this next level for Bitcoin, 41.5. That's fun. 40.
What the?
Just unzoom it. I don't need it. It's not that. I just couldn't see this price down here, Amin. There it is. Keep it like this, fine. So anyways, I was saying if we break here, that was pretty fun though. If we break this 42, see now I can't see it, 42.4, then I think we get back down into here, 41.5. So let's be careful with that one. Yeah, you got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. And we've been doing this for 22 years, so it does take a little bit of patience to do everything right, and you're not always going to be right. Like AMD right now, I'm thinking about just taking this out. What did Brendan give us again? It was
$1 billion.
1B.
Yeah, $1 billion to sell, man. That's. Although, look, I just got out of a firm actually because it did just hold the bottom on a decent enough. There was someone that stepped up on the bid right there at 40.80, so that happened. I'm not gonna. I'll hold on to Rivian, see if that can maybe hang on to its bottom range. But at 340, I'm going to tighten the stop ups and just sort of bank the profits in there. But $1 billion to sell, early imbalance looks, which we didn't show you guys on the individual names. Okay, whatever peak is, whatever EIX is, we know AT&T, but LU Lumen, BAC's there. If Pfizer's $1 million, I'd say the most interesting on the early individual names would be CCL because that was a big runner today. 900,000 in balance isn't gigantic for it. Oh yeah, tomorrow morning, I mean, you got Qualcomm tonight, which you guys will be able to talk about live on the after show. But then you have RCL reporting tomorrow morning on a day where CCL had a pretty decent round trip. So the travel names were in play today. CCL had a pretty decent move and has been bouncing a little bit. So RCL might be worth a gander at some of those travel names. Heck, I mean, we're always talking about Disney, yet we're somehow never talking about Disney as a travel name. And it's like all anyone cares about is the streaming part, is if they aren't printing money in other places. But I get it. Everyone is concerned about streaming and battling Netflix. I'm out of you, Disney, and that money went into Netflix. Sometimes you just got to give up the ghost. And to me, I gave up owning Disney so that I could own more Netflix. I don't think I'll regret that decision in the long run.
No, but of course, price is everything, and Disney could hold 90 or not. I mean, that's the break. I wasn't looking at Disney. I just wanted to see it because I wasn't sure where we were. We did have a nice move like that. There was a court decision today with Disney actually, where their lawsuit against DeSantis and all that got thrown out. That's not going to affect anything. But we're $2 in the money again on AMD. It's the same trade. It's just we're again here. This is the lowest it's been. We liked it so much we took it twice. There it goes, man. AMD is the #1 name, and we reloaded it, and it's just continues to go to the downside. Remember, we chose Max Pain on Apple, but Apple actually didn't give any pain whatsoever, pretty much. They just hovered around here and didn't do anything. So I actually said this before. I think Apple, I feel like that story that came out from that Chinese analyst there that said that he had seen 30 to 40% less Apple shipments or something like that. I feel like that's a little bit fugazi there. I'm not loving that story. We'll see what happens with Apple. I'm not super convinced, super micro. I'm not super convinced about the consumer either. So that's Starbucks. We lost on Starbucks today, about 2 Frappuccinos. We went long there, then we went long again. I guess it was that one. So that's what I'm saying. It was pretty small because we do have some good trades in here, but I didn't get out of them all. I thought we could run up. So when we get hit on that's probably why we're down, because that is 90, break of 94. These longs are like 94.10, and the best we got out there is 20s and 30s, and then we got something out at 35. But Starbucks goes huge green, not huge green, I think it was a 5%, to red, and now at the low of the day. So this is not like great for consumer stocks, I don't think. And we talked about Walmart. I thought Walmart today, remember I said I basically never want to buy Walmart, but I would buy it because of this split news? Well, you know, Walmart should not have done this today. I'm sure the market is what it is, but you know, this is Walmart right here, right? Spinning to the downside all day. We opened up at 168. You're now down to 165. Like, it's just back to where we were yesterday. It's not, this is not, oh my God, the sky is falling. And maybe it's worth picking some up now. But at the end of the day, especially now, like you got to sort of think forward, right? If you're going to think about, and join me on the podcast and on the market recap, if they're not going to lower rates, a guy like me that has to up their mortgage, somebody that wants to look for a new car, see you, Rivian, by the way, people that want to refinance anything, you're now going to have to wait maybe an extra couple months. I don't think it's dramatic, but when you're talking about a couple months, that's a quarter in stock market talk. So some of these car companies may not, if they projected for, not just cars, retail, any consumer goods, basically, if they projected better sales because potentially rates were getting better, that's not going to happen anytime soon. What's up, Brendo?
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
The second you said that, I was like, hey, what about Mullen? Mullen has a refresher at $7. Yesterday's bottom $7. All day today, 7, 7, 7, 7. I can see it there for, you know, it's just a few thousand shares. It's probably some kind of an iceberg. But, oh, thank you, Daily Chart. But anyways, you get the idea. This could be one worth watching. It could be in a little bit of trouble. With only about 3 minutes to go till the imbalances drop, I have a bid at the low of the day on Rivian. I said I'd throw it back in there. If we break back above 1550, I'm getting out. If we get the low of the day, we get the low of the day. But you know what's holding up really nicely? I'm surprised by this. The NASDAQ's at the lows down 2% today. SMCI is up 3% and never made a new low in today's trade. On top of that, it's barely even underneath VWAP and it's holding the higher low from earlier. That's a pretty bullish looking a day for SMCI. Now remember something about this.
Still up?
Yes, and it's a 9% short float. Like NVIDIA doesn't have a 9% short float. No, I get it. A lot of people make negative bets on this and options and all that good stuff. But SMCI, maybe it's telling us something. Maybe it's trying to tell us something. I'm surprised. I would have expected this to have broken down on a reversal on a Fed day. So it's a good look there, and appreciate you guys letting us know. I don't know that I'm calling it Jonathan Greenwald. SMCI seems rigged.
Yep. Welcome to the market. Just insert any stock there, and then you'll see it. All right, we do have earnings, so let's go. What's up, Ramin? We'll put these on the board right here. You guys asked for earnings board, so we deliver every single time. It's Qualcomm tonight. There's really not too many other big names. MetLife is there. And then
Tomorrow morning, though.
Flex Seal? I don't know what I'll have to figure out.
Flex.
It wasn't that. Flex,
Isn't that? No, that's the. Who was it?
Charging? Flex Point or something?
Oh, I don't
Hold on
know.
a second.
I'm thinking of some kind of one, like something that the Sham Wow guy would be selling. or the like.
That's what I said.
days.
Flex Seal.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I thought
there's a commercial for
it's
that.
just
isn't
called
there?
Flex Limited. I actually have absolutely no idea. I don't even know why I said that. Okay, Peloton. Look, Merck tomorrow. I love the space. We've talked about buying some XLV and things like that.
Oh, yeah,
Join me
it's
tonight
there.
as we'll go over all these earnings as they come. Royal Caribbean as well. Sirius.
Big short
Is
float on
that
Sirius.
Block on the bottom left, or is that Altria's symbol? Remember Block? Oh no, I know what Blocks is. Yeah, it's not that. It's something.
What
similar.
is that?
It has to be Altria.
Why?
It's Altria.
Okay. No, I probably have an idea of why.
Yeah, and then Sanofi. I mean, look, there's big names, and then right in the middle there, poor Canada Goose. We've had 0 shoveling days here.
I
0.
shoveled once.
Once. Okay. We've had 1 shoveling day so far in freezing cold
I got a good
Canada. Again, here it's 5 degrees and it's gorgeous, 5 degrees Celsius. It's like 45 Fahrenheit or something right now here in, yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about our current environment. And it is Wednesday, the 31st of January. Ramin's like, oh, wow, yeah, you know, like Edmonton is really cold and stuff. Yeah.
Well, hold on a second.
I mean,
look at nat gas futures, and then you tell me that it's not been a warm winter.
It's like 40% of Canada is literally in the GTA. So if Canada Goose cannot perform, that number may be a little bit high. I'll have to double check that. See, the thing is, this is what I do.
I saw a guy in shorts on the subway today.
Oh yeah, my brother-in-law lives in North Bay. I guarantee you, if I FaceTime him right now, he's in shorts.
Inside though.
No, not inside, on the rink probably. These guys.
Come on, son.
No, because if you're get Randy out here. Randy hasn't worn. Randy's been in a short. I come in the morning.
Not me, man.
Randy, not me either. I mean, but you know,
crazy.
I'm actually colder at the rinks than I am in the wild. That's hilarious because it
That's
actually
Randy.
looks like him right there. Oh, next time I'm gonna do that and get out of there. Get out of there, my guy.
Oh, Randy.
All right, here we go. It's imbalances, and it is going to be wonderful. And we do have 5 seconds, no matter where you are in the world. It is 3:49, 3:50 right now here in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We'll just move forward on this as we were talking about Walmart. And now let's go see what's hitting right now. You mentioned Pfizer earlier today. They actually came out a couple days ago with earnings yesterday morning, I believe. We actually didn't trade that. Intel is a down.
$7 billion to sell.
Yeah, okay, so I've already called a market flush inbound. Let's see if that does happen now. Intel with a sell, $7 billion. Amazon with a sell. Is there anything that you're seeing? Look at Amazon. Wow, bleeding.
Sell.
Bleeding.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
same.
Just Apple 1.3, like whatever. Plug Power is a buy for 1.2 million if anyone gives a darn about that. And something else was a buy, but yeah, it's all to the sell side. Nikola, Plug Power and Nikola are the two buys of stocks that I actually know. But I just got the low of the day on Rivian, so the market is red. And I know it said 1609, but remember, my average price was 16 to give it a quarter to the 1625 top, right? So it does that first in the Sean already mentioned first in, first out. Average price was 16 to risk 25 cents. It got down to 30. So you take the thirds out, the average out's going to end up being about 42 pennies. So it still works. The mistake, I think, was not trading said Nikola, because that's lower hanging fruit to short 79.5 cents in front of 80, because I wasn't looking at it. I promise you there was a boatload of size on that 80 level on Nikola. Buy and balance, yet it's right at the low of the day and not bouncing. Nikola gonna be a Nikola. SQ Pilot, bloodbath tomorrow night. We'll see. I mean, you got the big earnings. We already had big earnings on Tuesday night, obviously, but you do technically have bigger names coming after market on Thursday, and sometimes the market waits to see there. And Powell did it the wrong way. AMD was weak.
Bloodbath tomorrow?
I don't know if it's an aftermarket, like after the earnings, because I think a lot of money is going to wait to see what's going on with Apple, Amazon,
Yeah, that's what I was going to
and
say.
Meta. Like I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't as much volatility depending on the names. I think some of the EVs are going to definitely move, but aftermarket tomorrow is going to be wild.
Well, the reason why I say, is that we're going to have to wait a little bit is because, like, we got bad earnings yesterday, right? Microsoft missed, Google missed, Starbucks apparently missed. I'm missing one, AMD. Yeah, no, whether or not they missed or not, the idea is that they were all negative to start the day, and we started the day up here, and now we're all the way here. So I know we had Fed. That's obviously going to influence it, but now you don't have Fed on your side apparently, right? And you're not. I've always said that so unfortunately, I covered because I got to go over to the desk. We should not have covered. We covered at 20s. Apple would obviously be much, much better now. AMD, same thing, man. We covered 167.50. So, or 167.70 actually. Oh well, now it's back up, so I don't feel so bad. But anyways, we did cover on that. That's going to be a good trade, but it just went down to 167 flat. That's $2. That's $2.50 if you're still in it right now. So again, congratulations to that. I'm going to move over to the desk, but we do have not Oracle. Let's just check on Qualcomm. Let's just see what's happening to it before earnings here coming through for Qualcomm. I think again, I'll give you a prediction based on what I think well. Again, after what we've just seen with earnings, I'm not sure about with the Fed, I'm not sure what Qualcomm could say, but I thought that again, when you're going like this, you bump up there. I don't know what these bumps are all about right there, but 146, you like to see that hold, 144 at the bottom. This little wick top makes me a little bit worried about their earnings report. I don't know much about Qualcomm. Stay tuned afterwards, and we'll do our best to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, they usually give you an idea of how things are going in the handset space. So the implied volatility, the expected move is like 5.5, and it did 5.8 last time. So just kind of plot 5.5% from where it is right now, and I think that's your path of least resistance. So what's that going to be like? Almost $8. So if it closes at 148, like 56, and then 140 even would line up. 140 is the 50-period moving average, and 156 is the actual high. So Qualcomm is basically pricing in up or down the most obvious of ranges in the options market. But I think it's more of a bellwether stock. I'm not sure this is a trade. Like, I don't know if we ever traded Qualcomm, but it could give you some juice to Apple tomorrow. It could give you some juice to the other tech names. I'm just more excited a couple of squeeze names that we have potentially for tomorrow morning, like Sirius Satellite Radio with its short float. RCL, always good for some price movement. But the market, it's not going to be good for the market. We're going to close, barring something incredibly dramatic, we're going to end up closing on the lows or pretty much near the lows of the day, almost a 2% to the downside, and that's before we get some big cap tech earnings tomorrow after the bell. So about 5 minutes to go here.
I gotta get over there.
There was a $7.2 billion imbalance. A lot of that is probably paired off. I don't recall seeing Walgreens there at 3.5 a minute ago, so maybe that actually grew. Pfizer definitely shrunk. I like leaving it in so that I know where it started from. Like Pfizer started at 3 and is actually paired off a little bit. So most of the big names have paired off, which is expected. That's what happens with imbalances when they're big. It's an opportunity for big orders to come through and pair it off. Intel's only down to 1 million shares. So you're going to get a bit of bounce in the market at 355 as a lot of those imbalances have, in fact, paired off.
All right, Kat's busy working back there, but she can give a little bit of a wave if she wants. Go on, there she is, and we'll also do this.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
Make sure you do that, and make sure you do it today, and you will be a subscriber to said show. Thank you so much. I'm going to flip over there and get ready to go today again. We can raise a trophy here today, but honestly, I got to give a big shout out to some of the guys behind us. Good day today for some of them. They know who they are. Congratulations again. And, this floor is going to be graduating a bunch of traders very, very soon. So congratulations to everybody on the floor, and a good job by Wayne and by Brankles. And we continue to rock and roll here at this Toronto office. Make sure you join up Day Trade the World. Go find it right now, daytradetheworld.com. You can sit beside my guy Patrick here and rock and roll all day. So congratulations, everybody behind us there. It was a good day. It was a good day for these guys as well. So congratulations, and congratulations anybody out there that made money, because we know who we are, but we're trying to make everybody a successful trader and a better trader, whether or not you had a successful day or not today. Hopefully some of the talks we had were decent, and if I keep talking, I won't stop, as you guys know. So I got another show to do, so I'm going to go over there immediately.
3 minutes to go, and look, it's also the end of the month, so hopefully you had a fantastic month of January to start the year. It was a good one here. I can't complain about it. You're not going to be perfect, but every green day is a good day, and it's been a solid month. You just have to be able to play in both directions, because a lot of these moves have been pay dirt to the downside, and so you got to be able to respect that. We are still sustaining this bounce a little bit here, so I just want to respect what is going on. We talk about the reason we mentioned 355, by the way, as the market just bounced about 20, 30 points. I just saw Apple bouncing a little bit back above the 185, just checking out some key levels, because I know 85 is a big level. The reason we talk about the imbalances at 355 is because that's one of the major pairings. So imbalances come at 350, at 355, there's a big pairing event, so like a 5 million imbalance is very likely to get cut down by a lot. And when it happens en masse to a big sell imbalance like today's at 7.2, the net effect of that is going to be pretty much on cue, exactly at 355. If it's a big imbalance, you might see this kind of a candle. It doesn't always happen, but the cues made a low, 55 hits, and then they bounce almost like a full dollar. So you will see that from time to time, especially when there are significant imbalances and pretty much all the way through. Yeah, Tube 37, let's get those likes up. Why not? And shout out to you, Ponzi Fonzie, from Breakfast Club to hanging out to the end of the day, and then continue to watch as you get the market recap show. I see you in the morning, Ponzi, dropping knowledge with the entire crew that's here early. We love you. All of the great ideas that you guys talk about, whether it's options, gappers, maybe it's some earnings plays that have come through, and we'll be talking about some levels in there and some ideas. And that starts almost like 7 a.m. before the show even comes on at 8:30. And I love all of that talk. It's a lot of fun, to be sure. Shout out to all of you guys. That sell-off, it's nasty, but the shorts were on. You just got to play that direction every single time. I know I'm looking for some flat bottom breaks tomorrow. There's no question about it. But just because we're down today does not guarantee that we're down tomorrow. You've got to trade whatever the price action gives you. The big one, I think, for a bellwether is going to be Qualcomm. We don't get the benefit like today where everybody was down off of earnings and the only company that was up was Starbucks, and Starbucks literally missed on every single metric. So the one stock that was up on earnings today missed on every single metric, so it was a little bit easier to hunt for shorts today than I think it will be tomorrow, at least based on those earnings. But you know what time it is? We're going to get the camera off of me, we're going to get to that green screen, and we're going to pop the countdown on for the market closing. But just because the market's closing doesn't mean it's over. We'll ring that bell in 4 o'clock, but you're not going anywhere. The market recap and then some Qualcomm earnings, and Chris Breter, the special guest, are coming through in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Adara. And now the market's closed. So we are, oh my goodness, 1.99% to the downside on the NASDAQ. Hey, we didn't fall 2%. Yay, congratulations to the market. Hopefully you had some shorts today, because if you didn't have any shorts, then it's a tricky day for you. And hey, if you can't go short, there are still some of those inverted ETFs that allow you to play the other direction. But let's get right through it, because we got to get to these Qualcomm earnings. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Fabian Ramin. Thank you very much, as always, to Sharif and Adara for the midday. We had a great, fantastic day of news. Obviously, Brendan keeping us abreast of all of the knowledge with the Fed. But it's time to get to the market recap, because either somebody just fat-fingered Qualcomm or the earnings are out. So let's get to the desk in the market recap.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the market recap. If you're sick of me, I'm sorry, I'm back. All right, Qualcomm is now out. What a day that was, man. We've got a refreshed water right here. Shout out to everybody that's here. Let's just do a bang for that day. What a great day. I was just telling Brendan, like, some of those moves there at the end were quite dramatic, and we had a few of them, man. We'll go 6 for 6 into the Fed, so that was pretty good there, after the Fed, I should say. But here's Qualcomm. Qualcomm is now out. Qualcomm goes up to 154 and change and falls back. We are brought to you by, I'm going to try to slow down a little bit because we're still on that high from trading. So woosah. Let's bring it down just a couple levels here right now. Qualcomm beats 275 versus 237. What we do on this show is we don't actually, that's my bad. I didn't even have time to adjust that. That's the wrong rundown, Brendo. You just got to put different names on there. Fabian, just put Brecher there instead of Shannon and fix those names. Neil can help you. Okay, that's my bad. It's not Microsoft or AMD. It's going to be Qualcomm, and we're doing it right now. I was way too busy at the end of the day. It's the second or third tab on the left. Brendan's got it. Don't worry about it, Neil. All right, let's go on the show here. I screwed up again. All right, Qualcomm beats. But you know what? Looking at these numbers, and what we're going to do on the show is we'll just talk about guidance. We'll talk about where the stock's going, possible some key levels. We'll have Chris coming on. He wants to talk about some SMCI options that he currently has or did have. But there's Qualcomm. We're going to try to bring you all of the live numbers as soon as they come through on the Benzinga platform. I'll have them for you. We also are brought to you by Trade Ideas. And Trade Ideas is pretty cool because we have these scanners ready to go right here. So we'll refresh that, and we'll refresh this, and we'll push play, and we'll push play. Any dramatic movements here, we'll start to see these races go. Another cool feature there. I don't know why that's all timed out, but another cool feature with trade ideas. All right. Wow, what a good day, man. The Fed stays put. The thing about it is we knew that was going to be the case. Give me a second. I'm going to call up the CME Fed rate tool because we can go over what happened today. UNG up 1.2. But if you're looking at here, we only have 3 things that were up today. These are sectors, right? You've got nat gas. You've got TLT, which is the Treasury, obviously with NASDAQ falling down. Then we have UUP, which is the dollar. Every other sector was red today. Only 3 up. Nat gas, who cares? TLT, which talked about Treasury, that's a sector, but it's more just, watching your money, fixed income, and then the dollar slightly up as well. Everything else bleeding. And you know why? Because we didn't talk with Jerome. This got changed. This used to be 50-50 for March. Jerome came out and threw some shade on that, saying potentially no rate cut in March. We've talked about this. Again, rewind on the podcast. We said there could be trouble brewing if the numbers stay strong. We talked about full employment right now. That's happening. He talked about inflation getting that 2 number. That's happening. PCE back in line. Oil. We don't have anything to worry about oil. Oil's near lows. Wow, it's battled back. But still, every time you're at the pump, you don't feel so bad anymore. So maybe the economy just needs to go into cruise control. What about, you know what? The more I think about this, what about KBH right now, or KHB? Where are we right here? There it is, the KHB. So this stock, again, look at this hit since Powell talked about that. As soon as that came out of Brendan's mouth, I should have gone over to housing because I gave that example of if you got a mortgage and you're looking to refinance, that maybe got pushed out. Look at the housing sector right now, downside. This is home builders, but again, if we get less aggressive rates, like they're hovering, not heading to the downside, so I guess Stacey and Neil, if they get a little bit more aggressive on their stance, housing downside. Look at the Qs today. Puke City down 2%. They're at the low of the day. We called that move down. Happy to have that. We will talk about some of those trades. As you can see, Qualcomm, Brecher, sticky note review, and some of the tweets. Let's go over those as we go. It's the SPY today as well. Let me check out the KRE. We actually, oh, there it is. We had that regional bank. What was it? NYCB today? NYC, yes. New York Community Bank Corp. Whenever you're out on an island, like look, generally when you're on an island, we like it. You're on there, you got the pina coladas, everything's cool. You're probably with your significant other. The sun is really nice, but not if you're your New York City Bank Corp right now, New York Community Bank Corp. You're on an island down here at $6. So today they come out and disappoint. All the way back to where we were back in disaster with Silicon Valley, First Republic. Is this the next name to go to pink sheets? We're going to find out. I don't know enough about it yet. We've been looking at big tech names, but there's First Community to the downside. Is that affecting the other bank names? Remember JP Morgan? They were like, okay, we'll take First Republic's dead and all that kind of stuff. And then boom, they're now at all-time highs. Look at Wells Fargo also falling down. I feel like this might be an opportunity to take advantage of some of the banks. So let's go over to the King and see how they traded today. JP Morgan, let's go to a 5-minute chart. We can see a little bit better. Everything pulling back in. I want to take advantage of this move. Brendo and I were just like, hey, this isn't even that big of a move when you break it back down. So let's do that right now. And let's go to the S&P 500. We don't always have to talk NASDAQ. Let's go over to a weekly chart here for the S&P. This is including today. Okay. So, yeah, we are not reloaded yet. This move is not even a move. The S&P down 1.6% today on the SPY. Man, we can get lower. Most of that move just happened in the last hour and a half. So if we think there's pain ahead, let this thing come in a little bit. We'll do the same thing here with the Qs on the weekly. Come on, man, what are we even talking about? This is not the pullback that we're all expecting. If you think that a pullback's inbound, you're going to have to get the beasts down. You're going to have to get Microsoft down. I don't think that report was enough. But look what happened today. Ruh-roh, we just went below 400 there. Which dog does that again? Snoopy. Snoopy, what? What's up, Charlie Brown? Man, we are still on that high of trading today, by the way. That's 397. So Microsoft comes right in there and hits back into yesterday's bottom. You know what? If Chris Breter, he's not here now, I don't see him in the room, but maybe we'll talk about Microsoft and some possible areas. He just came in? Okay. Shout out to Chris. But he's going to come on. Look at this level for Microsoft. This is interesting for me. If we stay under 400, hey, we used to have a segment called Tomorrow's Trades Today. But then I got limited to only a half hour, which thank God that was probably a good decision because as you saw, I could barely wrap the show up at 455 or 355 there. But anyways, we'll see about Microsoft tomorrow underneath 400. Let's play that short until we're proven wrong. So I think tomorrow's trade is going to be that Microsoft move back up to 400 and then a possible fade back in. Look, tomorrow we have Apple, we have Microsoft, we have Apple, Amazon, and Meta tomorrow. So they're all coming through. And today, man, oh man, did we have some carnage a little bit in the chip names. And by that, I mean, it's a nice pullback in. AMD, obviously this yellow line indicates earnings. Someone tweeted at me, I said realistically, I think a 150 is a decent level there for AMD if we do come in. So we'll watch out for AMD 150. We always want to talk about the king, and that's going to be NVIDIA. This name not really pulling back. I feel kind of maybe bad that we sold a little bit of this. We sold it $10 higher than where it is right now, but maybe just buy this back, man. Like any dips on NVIDIA, this is going to be the name that we want. Their report not coming until February 21st. Quickly on Qualcomm, why everybody's here. And I just want to thank everybody for coming through again. Over 3,800 watching. That's a big number, especially on a day where we don't have many earnings. But Qualcomm shoots the moon here, nicely up to the upside here, 152.75 on top and bottom line beats for Qualcomm, but again, not taking out its past high. So tomorrow we'll look for a 158 break. It's Hydration Nation. I need to get that key over here. These guys are working too hard to keep pushing it. So, all right, it's the SPY, it's the XLE, it's XHB. Let me just shout out whoever's here right now because, you know, I just want to thank everybody. Like, we're tired. I mean, we're not really. But we just put in a big day of trading, man, including finishing at the high of the day, hitting some great trades at the end of the day. So I want to just do this real quickly, man. It's an early roll call. All right, what's up, Nunya Biz, man? Today is dividend day for Jeppy. Okay, what's up to that? What's up to David Moore? What's up to For Profit, Jeremy Newman, Todd Carroll? You want a shout out, Todd? There it is, and you're also getting a bang for that as well. Shout out to Todd. We have Pitch Bulls here. The Salty Bear is here. Bear. He loves Trader TV. Can't do it without all of you guys today, man. Thank you to Paulie D shouting out me and Neil. How much does a trader make on year on average? Negative. Look, you said on average. The average trader fails. Some people will hide. I don't hide. You know, I've been here with this company 22 years prop trading. Most of the traders that walk in this door walk out 6 months later with negative balances. Most traders fail. I feel blessed that I'm able to sit here every single day and continue to trade with you guys and continue to teach as much as I can. But I'm not going to hold any punches. And honestly, that's why we're here. We're honest with you. Most traders will fail. That's why when I'm rolling out Chris Breter, when I'm rolling out Brian Shannon, when I'm rolling out JC Peretz, when we're rolling out Michael Noss, when we're rolling out, just keep going, Trader Tammy, Danielle Shea, when we're bringing these all to you, these are all established traders that have been here before. We're not YouTube guys that are going to be like, oh, I just made $57,000 today. Like, yeah, who me? Some will do that, some won't. And I respect those traders if those numbers are real. That's great. But you're not making 50 grand a day without putting some risk on your name. And that's a very, very risky proposition. I'll sit here and scalp. I mean, I'm going on a little bit of a rant here. I understand that. I'll sit here and scalp and show you guys profitable trades day in and day out. If it was up to me, we'd be showing green stocks, red stocks, all of that. But we're not doing that. Ask us in the chat. We're the real ones, and we'll tell you every single day. This is Trader TV Live, baby, and I'm proud of this place. I don't know if you can tell, but we built this. If they build it, you will come, and you did that. So a shout out to everybody here. Thanks for all of that. And hey, we're just being who we are. And if that includes not holding back, then we're not going to hold back. We're not changing. All right, that's Qualcomm. Nice move. What else is moving here in the aftermarket? Qualcomm. QRVO actually came out right now. Qorvo, nice move to the upside here, 106. Let me find out from Ben Zingo what happened right here. Here's Qualcomm. All right, Qualcomm, we're done with you. Here it is right now, just out at 401, and it's a very, very light earning. Whoa. It's a very, very light earnings day today, but here we go. Qorvo, 210 versus 166. That's a big beat. Also a beat on the sales. So top and bottom here for this name. Anything else come out that we want to talk about here? If I see any big names, Aflac maybe coming through as well. Let's just check out what Aflac comes out and says here again. That's MTG. Where did Aflac go? AFL, there it is right here, miss. So EPS 128, misses 145, also a miss, top, bottom. So AFL, let's go see what AFL is doing. Not too bad, not too bad. Aflac down to 82.75, down 3 and a bit. We're looking at $83 right there for a possible entry for Aflac. So you're already in that. That's the 50-period moving average. Again, I don't know too much about these insurance names or any of that stuff. Aflac is not here in Canada. It doesn't mean we shouldn't know about it. But if we're going to play financials, honestly, guys, BRK.B, this stock continues to work. We've got BAC in this name. We've got Wells Fargo in this name. We've got Apple here. Plus insurance companies, including Aflac as well. So Berkshire, a good name. I like this. Despite Warren eventually was going to have to pass it on, they've built this name up. They know the trading. It's a good one. Obviously, we've lost Charlie Munger, not this year, but recently. So we'll still hold out for Berkshire. I still really like the name. All right, we had URA the other day. We had Michael Noss come on here, talk a little bit about uranium. The industrials, I know Chris might talk a little bit about industrials. He likes the transports and things like that. But this just goes back to that talk about the markets being held up by technicals, or by tech stocks. That's not true. Industrials are at highs as well. The financials obviously are at highs. Look at XLF continues to go. I have to take more, man. I don't know if these Apple Watches can count how many words, but we might be on a record. Fabian, can you just move that chair, because then I can see those screens. I can see Chris right there. All right, so again, thank you so much for watching, man. Over 3,800 watching me, but you're sick and tired of me, man. I've already been on for 5 hours. Let's bring on Chris. It's Trader Talk. It's Mr. Chris Breter. And Chris, I don't know what's up with you, but you look 30 years younger. What did you do?
Just soaked my face in palm olive. I mean, that's what I did in there. But my wife made me shave my head, said that she was sick of me looking like I was from the beatnik from the 60s.
Yeah, I think I'm getting close to that as well, my guy. Looking sharp, man. Shout out to the wife. We'll go boom for that one. Looking real sharp. Okay, you had some big winners on SMCI. I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned to me buying cheap calls. That's kind of what I'm all about too. Let's get some value in here. Let's break down SMCI. What did you see? What were some of the options or calls that you bought? How did you play that? The floor is yours.
All right, we actually played it with puts.
Okay.
So what we were doing, and you only see it, let's say 5 to 10 times an earnings thing, is basically we saw SMCI rally into earnings on a pre-announcement.
Okay.
So our theory was, if it opened way up, wait a minute, my dog has to go out. It's really funny that one of my favorite content providers on Simpler has an indicator called the Moxie indicator, and my dog's named Moxie. So give me 1 second.
Sure, come back to me.
Yeah, sort of cool.
No,
But
I mean, what kind of dog do you have? I have
SM
first of all, Chris, hold on a second. I have a cockapoo. You can't, this is my show. This is your show. This is everybody's show. We all want to know what breed of dog do you have?
It's a half beagle, half retriever.
Okay, so
nice.
50, 60
Nice
pounds?
loud dog that all day will retrieve a ball. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty great. Yeah, mine's just a little girl there. Belle is her name, and yours is Moxie. So, okay, let's go over back to some trading. Sorry, I talked about calls. It looks like you had some puts. More interesting, in my opinion. Let's go, Chris.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, you know, there are two sides to a market. I know that's corny, but a lot made money in calls in SMCI today. But a lot of what we do is if something pre-announces and then gaps up the next morning, we look to buy cheap puts because a lot of times they widen it out and all the people that took shots and puts give up. So a lot of times you can buy puts out of the money, let's say with a week to go or 2 weeks to go, that even if the stock goes a little higher, they widen the market so much on the opening, you can make money in them. So SMCI was a perfect example. So that day, I don't know if Thinkorswim rewinds like only a day.
That? Did you cover? Are you out of them all there? Was that same day? Or?
Oh, that was only for an hour.
Oh, okay. So you're completely
one
out.
of those typical day trading mentality, I guess. But let's see if SMCI I can show you. Let's see if it went
Do
there.
you only trade with calls and puts, Chris, or sometimes you'll put on physical shares or what?
No, I'll trade shares. We have a wheat ETF that we've been long deep in the money call. You could have just bought wheat, WEAT.
Yeah, wheat.
And
wow.
before you think I'm some genius, it hasn't worked yet. So just to let you know,
we already think you're a genius,
but
regardless.
Yeah, we'll go buy ETFs. I mean, we'll buy, you name it, we'll buy it.
Okay, well, hopefully that's not true of everything.
Corny, but that's what we'll do.
All right, Fisker. You buying Fisker? No, you're not buying Fisker. That's all the way down. All right, so you like to trade with ETFs as opposed to individual names. I guess that's long story short.
Oh, no, we'll play stocks too, especially like today. We were in IBM.
Okay, let's talk about that.
We shorted IBM, but we bought it too early. We bought puts too early. Stock started going down, but the puts were so out of the money. I was nervous that we'd be right and lose money. So we basically got out. We got out the options, lost a tiny amount, but we shorted stock and made on that.
Chris, why didn't you message me earlier about this IBM trade? I mean, look at this. Come over here, guys. This is Trader TV live trading, baby. 188. Look how good that was. I don't know how you nailed that. What did you see upside here on IBM today? Because this trade, this is the pre-market here. Once you get white, then that's the intraday. This never went against you. So this is post, this is pre, and that 188.40. I mean, how good was that to the downside? What got you in these IBM call or puts here, Chris? That was a fantastic call today.
All right, so I know we jumped from SMCI, and I'm sorry about that. All I was going to say is SMCI, some of the February, let's say 450 puts.
Okay.
So they were 100 points out of the money. They opened them like bid $1, offer at $8, and they trade like at $1. So you throw in a low ball bid on those. But getting back to it about IBM, you know, I know a lot ask you about volume. About stock volume, how important. And I don't look at volume that much except with capitulation or breakouts. Now, I wanted to show you this in IBM, and this is why we were short IBM last week. That's a capitulation.
Okay, good.
So you had the up, and then you had the whoosh, just like the opposite of when a stock has a panic sell-off. So that capitulation got us wanting to short, and then we saw this. We saw that if it broke this 186, we had an alert right here. If it broke that, that was it. There was nothing on the way down. Now, we were short from here. So we were short butterflies under the market that we were getting a little nervous. But that capitulation sell-off was it. I mean, rally was it. So, like I said, I look very rarely at volume.
We're trying to...
I mean...
Chris,
there you go. There's a capitulation for you.
That's what I was going to identify right there, Chris. Like this is this is the whole point of this show, right? Is to get traders on like that, like yourself, that have those kind of ideas. Like that is a great indicator right there. That sort of that wick top in IBM, then pulling back down. Like that high was 196 with tons of volume. I really, really like that. And you could have done, I mean, SMCI, similar, right? As you mentioned, blow off the top there, wait for that, and then boom, back down into the downside. So, yeah, good talk there about everything. All right.
Yeah, but I'll show you something really interesting. SMCI, look at that. It didn't have the same capitulation.
Right.
It actually had lower volume than the pre-announcement. That's why we took a quick profit in there.
Okay.
Why IBM, that was such a capitulation, we've been in for 3 days.
That is the word of the day now. It is capitulation. Okay, I'll give you a second here, Chris. Can you call up some Apple, because Apple's come over to my screen. I'll give Chris a second to have a quick load at that. Look, I've just recently bought some. I bought some down here actually at 186, and we're all like really happy about it. That was the Apple ban day when they just said, forget about it. We're not worried about this ban. We're just going to keep going. And of course, I'm talking about the blood oxygen sensor. But to be honest with you, this is the daily chart. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red days in a row for Apple. It was 6 up, it's 6 down. I mean, this looks like, you know, the perfect sort of possible formation to break this bottom of 180. And then we're talking about 160, 165, something there right now. If we don't hold this 200, we're in trouble. I actually am nervous, and I'll talk about a little bit of macro. We had an analyst come out yesterday morning, talk about Apple potentially seeing a slowdown in deliveries in China. That started this sort of move back to the downside. Now we get worries a little bit today. Starbucks down, AMD down, Microsoft down, Google down. So all these Mag 6s, Mag 7, Tesla crushed as well. Are you guys playing Apple at all, or is this let's wait for the quarter, see if we have anything? Because for me personally, I'm not buying any of these dips until we get into the 160s again.
Well, we were playing it right here. I mean, so I'm not saying we bought a short 1 million shares, but we were playing those reversal candles up here. And the key was those indecision candles followed by a decisive follow through to the downside. So we were shorting in there, but fundamentally, there are two big things against Apple. One of them is their PE is the highest almost it's ever been, and it really isn't growing other than buybacks taking out a lot of stock. And the other thing is, because they're not growing, they don't have a lot of cash left on the sideline like they did. So they can't have the buybacks they had. Plus, with short-term interest rates up, they can't really issue bonds to buy back stock, which is what they did for a long time. So you don't have that powder keg of the buybacks under it like you're used to for years, and the high PE. So I totally see what you're talking about when it comes to Apple.
Yep, no, that's a great call there, and thanks for bringing that up. Just about them losing the cash. The buybacks is really what sparked a lot of this. I think that all makes a lot of sense, and I'm just worried about the consumer, because if we're not getting lower rates, which Powell came out and said, look, guys, March is probably not going to happen, I don't think that's a good sign for credit cards, for consumer confidence, so on and so forth. I think a lot of us might have spent a little bit too much money expecting that, hey, maybe we would get to refinance some of the stuff, some of our loans or whatever we have outstanding. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. All right, you just called up Home Depot. If there's anything you want to talk about, Chris, you have basically a minute, and then I got to let you go because we're running short on time.
Now, that's more than my wife gives me. So let me just show you what we're talking about in here. I promised you that when stocks started to have the earnings that had big buybacks, that the 1550 trade would start working a lot better. And I wanted to show you this because we did it today.
Oh, good.
So right here, 1551, 7 billion to sell. So a lot of times on Thinkorswim, this hasn't mattered. But once companies can't buy back to take the other side of that, look what happened in the last 2 minutes. We bought these. So I'll just show you real quick. I
like this trade. Keep going.
Oh, we bought the 48.50, 48.45, 48.40 put fly for 25 cents.
Jeez.
A minute to go. I sold at $1.35. It closed at $5. But there you go. These at 1550 are going to work a lot better than they did when these companies couldn't buy back stock.
And that's why you are Chris Breter, and I'll give you more than a minute for stuff like that. You brought that trade to us months and months ago. I'm glad you're still looking at it. And just in case you needed to know, here at Trader TV Live, we have that number before anybody. 451 is late. We get that rate at, or 351. We get that rate at 350. So tune in tomorrow, Chris. We get that every single day as soon as it hits. Look, I want to thank you for coming through again today. That's an awesome trade, man. Whenever you could buy something for 25 cents and get out for $1.30, and then it goes to $5, that's a win for me. It's Chris Breter. It's Simpler Trading. Thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me on.
Always a pleasure, my guy. Have a good evening. Okay, wow. I mean, that's what we're talking about. I mean, I went on that little bit of a rant about not every trader could be successful. We already know that. I mean, that's like that in everything, right? There's so many people write their CMTs or CFAs or account, you know, they try to get to that. Everyone wants to be a doctor. How many people go to med school and become doctors? I actually don't know the ratio, so I should maybe be quiet on that. But that's the example that I'm giving. We're having professional traders on here. That was a great example right there. Does it always work? No. But when you can get a 3, 4, 5 bagger like that, makes up for the times you lose. Congratulations, Chris, on that. And a lot of the time on the show, it'll seem like you know, we're celebrating and we're being a little less humble. But part of that is so that we can show everybody that this is what trading is. You can make money, and I just feel like to celebrate some wins on the show, we also fail all the time. And I just feel like that's important, that we give you guys both sides, give a little bit of energy into the show. On that note, let's go over and talk about some tweets. All right, shout out to Gunjan. I mean, I've spoken to her. I got to get her on the show. She's not a trader. She's Wall Street Journal, but I feel like a lot of good things here. Look at this. I feel like this is pretty key. Average move on macro event days, right? So we have payroll, that's kind of still in line. This was only from year to year. It looks like right now, as we get more certainty, and I said this to Brendan, and that is that as the market becomes less and less confused about what the Fed is going to do, I'll move this over a little bit, these moves become less and less relevant. Like today, right, here, let's go to the FOMC. We knew the market was going, I didn't know it was going to be, but you guys saw what I said. I was short. We were 6 for 6 on this release today. So to me, a lot of expectation there. So 2022, you had a 1.78% average move on FOMC days. This is 2024, I understand that, but now you're going to get less of a move against expectations. We kind of expected that today. The NASDAQ going into the Fed was down 1.6. We finished down 2, right? Where's the NASDAQ right here? Yeah, we finished down 2. So again, up and down, that's fine, but again, less expectations makes it easier to predict said movement. The other thing I want to talk about, obviously, some of the notes that we had there today. Look at this move on Tesla. It finished with us being out right there. So if you're looking to follow somebody, this was the only trade we made on Tesla today. We bought it on VWAP. We talked about that. Fed was already out. We talked about where it could possibly go. Boom to the upside. Held it 350 winner, out at 192.50. Look where Tesla finished, though, the day. Hold on a second. Oh, look. My layout. All right, so here's my Tesla trading, right? This is live. And some of you say, like, you know, how do we follow you trading? I broke this trade down as I was actually in it. Why did we buy? Again, it doesn't take rocket science to know why we bought that. There's the support right there. We talked about that 188.50 support level. We bought this at 189. This was 70 cents worth of risk to make 350. Let's go. And then there's the breakdown. We actually talked about it not holding 188.50 as well. So you could buy, but you got to get out. Sometimes you don't want to hold forever. Another good example of that would be Microsoft, right? Oh man, way too many executions. Long. But then finally, we had a nice trade. It's too bad we have these wicks, but these were our 401 buys, right? This out right there is 403.80. We talked about that before it went all the way to the downside. So you can hold trades until you can't anymore. Let's just have a quick look at where the sticky note lies, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for watching again today. It's been a big day. Today, Fed today at 2 p.m. with a little bit of a star there. Short Intel. Man, we made some good money on Intel into the Fed there. Long Google, 138, 140. Let's just have a quick look at what Google wind up doing today, G-O-G-L-E. I don't think we were in this at all today, really, to be honest with you. No, we were not, so no fills on Google today. Time's up. But yeah, there's that 140. Look at that, man. That was great all day long until the end. So that 140 was a good fill. We didn't even break it yet. So I feel like we were okay on that call. Microsoft long, we talked about trying to go long around 404. That turned out to be a key level, but the long was never really in for Microsoft today unless you bought those 401s and 402s, which, if you look down here, wait for 400. We talked about that right there. If it breaks 400, it's a short. $3, it just happened afterwards. There it is right there. And then AMD, look, if you're not part of Sticky Note Nation, you know, I mean, AMD, and again, we have to be careful what we say because not everybody on the show trades AMD all the time. But AMD was the #1 profitable name today, period. Morning show, midday show, afternoon show. Not only did we hit it again. Shorting right there at the end of the day, 169.50. My last out is 167.82. Look, thank you for watching again, man. I'm going to be back every single day. We put a lot of effort into this show. Not only are we putting out this sticky note, but we're trading for you live every single day. We're putting on these positions, and I just want to thank everybody for sticking with us. It's #TradersStayLate. Please continue to do that with me. Again, thank you so much. You thought today's show was good. Yesterday's was good. Tomorrow's going to be our best show of all time. We've got Apple. We've got Meta. Apple, Meta. Which one am I missing? Apple, Meta. Oh, no. Now I forget. It's the other big one. What's the other one? It's not NVIDIA. Hold on a second. Someone in the chat will save me right now. It's not Qualcomm. What is it? I'm not letting everybody go until I see what this was. Yes, tomorrow it's Apple, it's Meta. We had Microsoft, Google, AMD today. There's one more that I'm missing. What is it? Amazon, hello. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. We're going to do roll call one more time. My bad on that one. Thank you so much. It's Amazon. Whoever said Amazon, you're going to get shut out first. Top man, what's up? What's up, Farley man? What's up, Najan? I like Amazon. That's another name that we could possibly buy on dips. What's up, Corleone? Apollo there. We Grow. NG. Anderson. You're all here. Meta, Amazon, Apple. That's right. The biggest and the best report tomorrow. We'll see if we can hold it. Hey, how about this? Neil may not be here tomorrow. I see Obi putting on his jacket. It'll be my pleasure to trade with LB tomorrow. It's going to be Amazon. It's the day before earnings. They come tomorrow night. Will Obi be in Amazon? I can guarantee you we'll probably both be, but you won't be able to find out until tomorrow when we start trading live again. It's 8:30 tomorrow. It's Trader TV Live. I'm Sean Katina. Go follow me at Trader TV Sean on all the platforms. I'll catch everyone tomorrow. Ciao.